Austin Reedy missed last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, yet still commands the 2022 installment of the MPI Cup Series as points leader, while Joe Sanchez comes into Austin fresh off his first win of the season at Atlanta. Can Warren Keith or Mario Miranda back up their past wins at COTA? Does Austin Reedy get a third win on the season? Does Joe Sanchez potentially go 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks? Or does somebody else entirely take top honors today? Hi, welcome to PitStop TV and the virtual circuit of the Americas. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costa alongside, and it's always fun to ring in a new series, especially one like this MPI Cup Series with such great support and great drivers. That said, JP, we usually ring in new stock car series on the high banks of Daytona, not on the curvy, whatever you want to call this, twisty bits of Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Oh, it sure is. It's definitely interesting to start, a new broadcast series, as you mentioned, not at Daytona, especially when you're talking about Cup cars, but instead at COTA. I absolutely love this circuit. Doesn't matter which series we're driving or commentating. It's an absolute fun. It's an absolute challenge, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be one big challenge for the drivers here tonight. Obviously, running the Cup cars. It's a high downforce circuit, Andrew. It was built for Formula 1, but, it's still a lot of fun on Cup cars, on pretty much any car, right?
It is definitely a demanding circuit. It is a downforce circuit, but it makes it a whole lot of fun when you bring some stock cars here that don't have a whole lot of downforce devices, air devices as I call them. They don't have a front wing. Sure, they have a rear spoiler, but it doesn't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, at least not compared to those big rear wings on GT cars and F1 cars. This is definitely a different animal for these guys, even in the new NASCAR Next Gen or Gen 7 car, as, well, it's going to start to be called. Welcome to the Grand Prix of Texas at Circuit of the Americas for the MPI Cup Series. Round number 6 of 35. Let's go ahead and take a look first at your track map today. There it is, Circuit of the Americas, COTA, as it's most, I think, notably known. The fastest lap here in a Formula 1 car is set by Charles Leclerc in 2019. That is a 136.169. The at least previous, but before today, and the NASCAR Cup Series race today, in which, well, actually I won't spoil the winner, but before that race today, the NASCAR Cup Series record here was a 2:35.3 dead on, but that, of course, was in the wet, set by Chase Elliott last year in 2021. These guys are already lapping at 2:14.7s, JP, and that's not blindingly quick. Of course, Formula 1, LMP1, IndyCar, DPI, you can see all their times there on the left. They are all faster than 2 minutes. But for a NASCAR stock car to still lap this place of 3.43 miles in just 2 minutes and 14 seconds, that's still pretty impressive.
Oh, absolutely it is. And especially when you're looking at the track map itself, we mentioned, it's a high downforce circuit. It was built for Formula 1 to come back to the United States. And you can see essentially the first and second sector engine until you come down to turns 10 and 11. It's all about downforce. Turns 1, obviously a big braking zone, but then you come to the fast right-hander turn 2, the S's that start on turn 3 and go all the way to turn 9. That's very challenging. And, well, the pace of these cars, is just amazing. And I just cannot wait to see what they're going to do in all full race pace, battling alongside each other. It's going to be great.
Of course, your highlights for today's course, well, it follows right with the NASCAR Cup Series weekend this past weekend. Of course, turn 1, turn 11, turn 12. Those are some of your big highlights, but you got to throw in the S's just for how confusing and how difficult they are in these stock cars. They do have wider tires than the Gen 6 car, but that doesn't do a whole lot when you're taking 6 inches of sidewall away. Of course, I think turn 9 and 10 is very, very important to get down into turn 11, and then obviously you got to get out of turn 11 for that backstretch and get as much power down as possible, as quickly as possible without spinning tire. You're also going to look at that stadium section, 13, 14, 15, 16, that entire little area that is so crucial. It's low speed, JP, but it's 4 subsequent corners, and it's right after turn 12, so really it's 5 corners, 12 through 16. It's so important to get right.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, it's a bit slower, and it's very difficult. Turns 15 and 16, I'm pretty sure, we're going to see a few moves happening there. Obviously, the inside of 16 definitely helps, and obviously the last part of the section, the one you're seeing on your screen right there, that big left-hander that just continues, and then you just have two other left-handers to finish off the race course. So it's a pretty fantastic one, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I love this circuit, and I will love seeing Cup cars run on here again, and I cannot wait to see what Gen 7 has to offer.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our point standings coming into today. I touched on it briefly. Austin Reedy with 2 wins of the season already, 5 points, just 5 points ahead of Alex Muscarella, but that is after a week off for Austin Reedy. So Muscarella was able to put some more points together. Even Garrett Brown was able to put more points together, and they still couldn't quite catch Car 96, who had that much of a lead going into Atlanta last week. That may change, though, today. Warren Keith and Mario Miranda. Now, Miranda is a little ways down the order. He's got a race win. Think back to Phoenix in this series. But those two, I think, are guys to watch. They have previous wins here in Seasons 3 and 4. They are the most recent winners here at COTA in the MPI Cup Series. Those are your guys to watch for today. Cars 42 and 99. Obviously, there will be other heavy hitters throughout the field. For example, Lawson Peel, quick in practice as well. Austin Reedy is third quick currently. Daniel Michel is currently in fourth. So there are other guys to watch, but those are the two that are on my mind the most. Cars 42 and 99.
I'll definitely keep an eye out for them. And obviously, Andrew, I'm excited as usual, to see how the point standings will change after this round. You can see a bunch of battles being really close together. Obviously, first and second separated by only 5 points. But the battle for third, only 1 point between them two. The battle for sixth, only 2 points. And then you can add Miranda as well. So 4 points between sixth and eighth. Very, very close throughout the field. It's definitely going to be so amazing. This schedule as well, it looks really good. I just love, Andrew, the difference between, obviously you can say F1 and NASCAR and the Cup Series. This is just amazing. 35 rounds. It's incredible.
And you can see the yellow numbers. Those are the races that we are broadcasting here at PitStop TV, splitting a schedule with Podium Esports the rest of the way. Freaky Fast Broadcasting was nice enough to broadcast the first 4 races that would have gone to our share, those being Auto Club, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Atlanta. Podium has Daytona, Richmond, Nashville, and, Daytona again all the way through the championship in Phoenix. But we're picking things up in between, right in the middle of the season. So you have us this evening for Austin, Circuit of the Americas. You'll have us again for Bristol Dirt in a couple of weeks. Then it's Talladega all the way down through Sonoma. Podium will have Nashville. We'll be back for Road America and finish things out at Watkins Glen. So most of your summer schedule, very much looking forward to it. We'll talk more about this schedule here in just a little while. But for now, qualifying, getting on the racetrack, 10 minutes for these drivers to set their lap times. Let's go ahead and get trackside for the first time today. And here is your most recent winner of the series, Joe Sanchez, car 55. Looking pretty stout. He was quick in practice. Wasn't super quick in practice. Wasn't top of the board, but was definitely up there.
He'll definitely want to repeat what he did last time out. Obviously, qualifying where it all starts is going to be, the 2 laps, the few laps that the drivers will have to essentially nail down. They have to get the tires up to temperature, up to pressure, and obviously, iron out any mistakes that they may have on practice and, on previous practice, let it be the official one. So it's going to be really interesting to see, Andrew. The pressure will be on 100% on each and every single driver. And, we're just going to have to wait and see how they will all perform around this amazing, beautiful, magnificent circuit.
On board now with Joe Sanchez, you can see the gearing. First gear from turn 12 all the way through the stadium section. That is really, really weird to think about. They do now, of course, have 5 gears in this Gen 7 car, so that does kind of give a little more leeway in between some of these corners. I think it's going to help a lot of the road courses out this year in 2022 and beyond, of course. But still, first gear in that stadium section is kind of scary just because of the wheel spin. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys get to where they can run second gear and save those rear tires, but even Fox today during the NASCAR broadcast was thinking first gear through there, so we'll see how things change. Turn 20 now before Joe Sanchez begins his first flying lap. We'll see what these guys can do in qualifying. One more thing I do want to talk about is the weather, and, drivers are already noting just how warm it is here. In fact, we were talking with Dakota Curtis a little while ago, and JP, it is warm. 83 degrees in the air, that's 127 degrees on the track, and look at that wind speed out of the southeast. A sustained 12 miles per hour. That is, that's blustery.
That is hot as well, Andrew. I'm surprised seeing that temperature, after we're used to, we had races in Bathurst a few weeks ago. It wasn't anywhere near as hot. It is 52 degrees Celsius. Tires are going to be screaming by the end of the first few stints. I'm assuming that they will, because that is a hot temperature, and especially around the S's, Andrew. They're going to overheat maybe. Drivers will be struggling, and especially those rear tires, as you mentioned. I would expect actually to see drivers, short shifting, maybe even qualifying.
Taking a look here at Wyatt Brackett, and tires are definitely going to be the talk of the town. They do have 4 change sets of tires, which means they're starting a race on one set, and they have 4 more in the pit lane, so technically a 5 set race, if you will. But they have 4 sets of change tires that they'll be able to use today. I doubt we get through all of those sets, but maybe, just maybe, there's a few opportunities for these guys to do so. There is one stage, of course, the completion of lap number 20 in our 46 lap race today. And here is a look, as I said, at Wyatt Brackett. We'll continue on through the field, see some more cars. Here's a great looking 51 car, Zach Wilson behind the wheel, James Kunkel behind the wheel of the number 3 car. We've got Parker Bland in car 01. I do like that number font. That is a good number font, my good sir. Daniel Holdcroft in car 31. Definitely a throwback there. And, of course, Dakota Curtis that I mentioned a few moments ago. Let's go on board with car number 1 while he gets his qualifying run underway.
So obviously coming into the stadium section and just exiting. Now we come to a real downforce part of the circuit as well, Andrew. This right-hander just really long, just stretching. It's a sequence of 2 corners, turn 17 and 18. When a Formula 1 car is flat out, unfortunately not yet on the Cup cars, but you can see just coming up to corner 19. Easy to extend, really easy, and really difficult for me to see the apex. And then one final braking zone, and then you get to do it all over again. So Curtis finishing up his lap, car number 1. Can he go to pole? Where will he sit by the end of his lap? It's going to be a 224.4. And that is, well, that looks like a banker because currently he sits 9 seconds behind the leader.
Mario Miranda, quickest on his first lap, already towed back to the pit lane. Let's check out Ross Harlow across the line in car number 5. And, our camera guy, a little off there, but Ross Harlow, very, very quick, it looks like. In fact, he's the only driver within a second of Mario Miranda. Of course, Mario, a former winner here at COTA in this series. Wouldn't be surprised to see car 99 do it again today. David Michel next up, currently in car 25, third quick. And he will head through the S's. So already it looks like it's going to be one of those days where there's a few guys that certainly excel. There's going to be a few guys inside the top 10 that are pretty close. And then everybody else is going to kind of line up behind and try to sort things out in the midfield. And I think we're going to see a lot of driver growth throughout the course of the race here, JP. There might be guys that unload a little bit behind, but as the day goes on, start to figure this thing out and get things going.
Oh, absolutely. I do expect that as well. You can see here, just making a small mistake, the number 25 coming into turn 11. One of the trickiest, I guess, one of the most important as well, corners, as Peel as well, making his way through the back straight away. But yeah, I would 100% expect some drivers to be struggling a little bit in qualifying, maybe even in the start of the race, but towards the back end, the last few stages, they might be obviously just a bit further back, not as back from the pace of the leader, which is definitely something interesting to think, you know. Andrew, we've ran SCAR that was supposed to help oval drivers on the roadside aspect. We could think of it the same way as this one, you know, just oval guys trying to run, you know, circuits, trying to run road circuits, and, well, improving. It's going to be really interesting towards the back end of the season to see how much these guys have improved, actually.
And one guy that surprised me so far in qualifying for the wrong reason, Warren Keith, currently in the 6th position, not doing so hot with his runs, and he might even be done for his qualifying run as well. He's got 2 laps in, it looks like. Yeah, I think his qualifying run is up, and he's going to sit 6th at best, which is really, really surprising again for me. I would not have expected that for a former winner here, but we'll see if that changes potentially. A few more drivers getting times down. Brian Curry might be one of the next to come around. And, of course, Austin Reedy, point leader with 2 wins of the season. He is coming around the stadium section now to try and finish up a lap.
Again, coming up to the final few sections of the race course, trying not to extend, trying to nail these corners. The front tires might be screaming a little bit as they have been used for a few laps, and obviously a ton of corners under heavy load now coming into turns 19. Just one more braking zone after this one, and that's going to be the last corner. Pretty much nailing it on the apex and on the exit using all the road available. The number 96 hits the apex beautifully, goes up to the curb, is going to finish his lap. It's going to be a 2:15.7, which is going to sit him, well, just barely a second off. 3rd place, yes.
Solid run there for Austin Reedy, and that fits about where he was in practice. So not at all surprising there for car 96, especially with a couple of wins already on the season. Here's a look at Brian Curry. Car 77 down into the turn 12 braking zone. Level 5 on board that machine this week. Curtis Kelly is also on the racetrack. And how about Justin Winters, a name we know around here at PitStop TV. Good to see him, and good to see Wyatt Brackett in the field in this MPI Cup Series. And I think excelling so far as Justin works through the S's. Still very early in his lap. We'll see what Justin can do in car 88.
And he's just going to have this one shot, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew. 1 minute 12 He's going to be able to finish the lap, correct? He should be able to.
It'll be
But
close.
he's, yeah, and
Only
he's
a
just
minute
going
to
to have
go.
this.
He might not.
Oh, so there you go. So yeah, only have one shot. He kind of cut a little bit of that corner. So I wonder if he already validated this lap. Anyway, he's going to be trying to pretty much nail each and every single corner if he wants a chance to starting up ahead and obviously close to the front three, essentially. So yeah, just the back straightaway to go, Andrew. And this is, well, this is a time for you to relax in the qualifying lap. You've seen this massive straightaway. You can kind of relax, get yourself toned down a little bit before you head into this big braking zone.
Turn 12, always very tough no matter what car it is, and especially in these NASCAR stock cars, it's very easy to lock up or run wide just like he did there. That will be a penalty today, as yeah, you can see he's not going to get this lap time in. But I say a penalty, it will be a 1x, so technically a penalty. It goes against these drivers in that regard anyways. So you do not want to go off track, basically, is what I'm trying to say. You do not want to mimic the lines that the NASCAR guys were using this weekend. That will earn you 1x's across the board. Off tracks are not what you want to get here at Circuit of the Americas. That said, qualifying wrapping up for round number 6 of 35 this season. So glad you're joining us here at PitStop TV for the first time now with the MPI Cup Series. We do urge you to follow us along on social media. We have a social media program this evening, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Those are the links down there below. So again, we invite you to follow along today. We certainly hope that you do so, whether you do so live or after the fact. But we've got a field of cars to meet, and JP on pole, you'll find former race winner here at COTA, Mario Miranda. He's already got a win on this season. Think back to Phoenix. He starts to the inside of Ross Harlow in car number 5. Starting third, you'll find two-time winner on the season and point leader Austin Reedy in car 96. Lawson Peel rolls off from 4th. Starting 5th, Daniel Michel in car 25. Joe Sanchez, last week's winner at Atlanta, he rolls off 6th. Starting 7th at Zach Wilson alongside a former winner here, Warren Keith. And starting 9th, it's Wyatt Brackett just to the inside of Alex Muscarella.
11th place will go the ways of Richard Swaley in the number 32. The number 81 of Steven Sempion is going to start in 12th place. 13th place will go to Brendan Banks in the number 54. Alongside him, the number 24 of Justin Erb. 15th place, row number 8 is going to be Curtis Kelly in the number 29. Alongside him, the number 18 of Rogers on his outside, obviously. Row number 9 is going to be Austin Shoemaker in the number 14. Alongside him in 18th, Andrew, the number 68 of Ryan Kendall. Number 19, well, starting position 19 is going to be Chris Shoemaker in the number 4 and the number 11 of Justin Hendry.
Sean Kalis rolls off in the 21st spot. Travis Stevens 22nd. Starting from 23rd, you'll find the number 27. That's Kip Easley to the inside of Parker Bland in car 01. Starting 25th, Dakota Curtis mired back in the field in car number 1. And Bill Schoonover will start from the... I gotta get that right. Schoonover, I believe, was the way Dakota mentioned it to us earlier on. Schoonover will start from 26. Starting 27th is the Auto Tempest, number 19 of Joseph Mahar. And Dylan Hastings rolls off in that Hellman's number 8 from 28th position. Starting 29th, you'll find James Kunkel to the inside of Brian Curry.
31st place to go to Justin Winters in the number 88. Alongside him, Charles Feltz in the number 75 in 32nd place. 33rd place will go the ways of Dustin Reeves in the number 6, and the number 17 of Chris Progar is going to start in 34th place. 35th will go the ways of Legan Sturgeon in the number 26, and alongside him, Garrett Brown in the number 16, starting in 36th spot. 37 go to Isaac Mock in the number 7, and alongside him, Daniel Holdcroft in the number 31 and 38th spot. And well, 39th will go the way of Brad Fulham, Andrew, alongside him, Shane Wyatt in 40th place.
40 starters today. That fits right in with the car numbers so far this season, and they're all being led, of course, by Mario Miranda well out front. This is a healthy, stout field of race car drivers. That weather, one more time, it is up there. 83 degrees in the air. That's 125 on the track. It's come down just a little bit, but it is still nice and toasty with a 12-mile-per-hour wind crossing the racetrack. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. The entire field working on to turn number 19 before we get this race underway. And yes, 40 cars, boy, it is taking a toll here on everybody's. You can see it's going to be an interesting day of racing. 46 laps on the way. I want to thank you once again for joining us here at PitStop TV as we roll into turn number 20. That is a lot of cars to render, but Mario Miranda out front of them all, waiting on the green flag from Barney the Flagman, and we are racing at COTA. Not yet. No, there's a line there. There's another line down further. Hang on. We got it. Give it just 1 second. See, Barney's at a turn 20. The green flag is apparently down here. Now we are racing at COTA officially. 46 laps begins now. Already some jostling, some chaos in the first corner. One car went out wide. Look at everybody else, though. Down to turn number 2 for the first time. 3, 4, 5 wide, further back into the S's.
Now, a tricky section. Everybody's going to try to single file through here. It's really difficult to make it as well in the racing line, let alone side by side. You can see pretty much everybody filtered out. That was a beautiful turns 1, 2, and 3 sequence, Andrew, but looks like everybody makes it through. But look at that shot. Those are 40 Cup cars, and well, I don't think I'll get tired by it at the end of the 46th lap.
These shots right here, right on the curb, seeing just how close these guys get to those anti-cuts. You don't want to hit them. You really do not want to hit those anti-cuts here at COTA.
Absolutely not. They're not only going to unsettle the car, maybe make them jump. I'm not quite sure if they can tackle a lot of damage as well. You can see even a few more moves being done by turn 11. So drivers already getting a little bit racy, going down the inside of their fellow competitors. Looks like we're going to have a small drag race, but looks like number 53 decides to back off a little bit.
Lawson Peel gives that spot up. And right back down onto the brakes for turn 12. Boy, that is a view as everybody turns in right there for the corner. Oh, one car out wide. This is going to be a good day of racing. That car out wide gets back in. I believe that was David Mitchell, but yes, it was Mitchell in car 25. Let's a couple of guys go on by. Now down into the 10th position, just ahead of Steve Stempian. And he will battle Justin Erb, gives that spot up. So Stempian down into 12th.
Down into 12, he's going to try to make those positions back, at least. Now coming into the final section of the racetrack, just exiting the stadium section down into turns 16 and 17, no, 17 and 18. So a long sweeping right-hander. Those left-hand tires, as you can see, even a few cars going wide on the second to last corner. And it looks like a few of them already taking that 1X early on, but well, nothing has changed up front.
Miranda leads lap 1. No surprise there. You can see everybody else filter through the 20th turn. Now this is actually kind of mesmerizing to watch these guys work those track limits. That green box on the outside of that final corner, that is AstroTurf. That is a no-go. You cannot touch that or you will get a 1X, at least from what I've seen this week. Yeah, you don't want to go out there and, oh, a couple of cars making some contact further back. A really good look at how this field is filtered out after one lap of action.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see a few cars, already a few distance between a couple of them, but a lot of them really close together. And this is just going to be, I guess, the norm, Andrew. We're going to see plenty of battles throughout the field. Well, we have 40 cars, so we're definitely going to see plenty more. We're kind of used to that with BSR and NARL, but, well, it's a completely different challenge, isn't it?
Especially when you have Ross Harlow working on Austin Reedy here very early in the race. This is for second. Ross Harlow working on the points leader down out of turn number 10 to turn 11. Is he going to try into the braking zone? No, sits right back behind car 96. He will wait at least to the back end of this backstretch. Reedy a little bit wide at apex. A nice little exit, though, and he's on nicely. Muscarella gives up a spot to Swavely just behind. Now it takes it back, it looks like, from car 32. Curtis Kelly, Brandon Banks also battling. For the entire field of 40, they are definitely racing.
Absolutely, and this is one of the hot spots you mentioned on the pre-race show, isn't it? Turns 11 and even turns 12. You know, we're going to see plenty of moves happening. And, well, I don't expect nothing less. Big braking zones and plenty of opportunities just like that to go down the inside and get a position.
Good look at these guys working through turn 12 now, and it's going to take a little bit, but these guys will find a nice little rhythm. We'll see exactly who's got the stuff, basically, today. And the race will start to take form. Here's a look at Wyatt Brackett, Warren Keith just behind. Alex Muscarella. This is a good battle, though. Swavely on Muscarella. These guys have been battling at least for this lap in several corners. I think I first noticed it in turn 11 this lap, but they are still at it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very close together. You can see a few different lines, just a little bit, taking through this section of corners. Now coming into the final two. I don't expect to see many moves around here, especially with the long straightaway that we have at the start-finish line. So it looks like we're going to be holding position for the time being. But turn 1, Andrew, we've seen time and time again, it's a beautiful overtaking spot. That wide entry leaves plenty of opportunity down the inside.
On board with Swavely. Position number 9. You can see Michelle just behind. Justin Erb is behind in 11th as well. Sempian in 12th. Kelly in 13th. But we are on board with position number 9, car number 32, working on Muscarella, and that was a little bit slow out of turn 1. That's not what Swavely wants here.
No, absolutely not. Just yielding around a tenth of a second, tenth and a half, which obviously is not that big if you think about it, but if he keeps doing this lap after lap, it's going to end up, it's going to mount up, and it's going to be a big, big gap by the end of the race. So kind of needs to iron out those mistakes. Looks like he's a little bit under pressure, quite a bit under pressure from Michelle right behind him. So we're just going to have to wait and see how the number 25 will navigate the number 32 just ahead of him as they enter, the final few corners of the S's section.
Harlow started to take a look there at Reedy, has gotten very, very close to the midpoint of this lap, and just went purple that last lap. You would have seen that top of your screen. Harlow's definitely got a piece underneath him. Car 5 is looking good today. Now, Miranda is well out clear. We haven't really talked about Car 99 just yet, once we got Green Flag Racing, but the Burnt Rubber Media 99 clearly has got something going right, and I think it's pretty apparent as to why he is a former winner here. In fact, Warren Keith won here in the Gen 6 cars in season number 3, but in season 4, with these Gen 7 cars, it was in fact Miranda who got that race win and led a lot of laps in order to do it as well. Car 99 has got things figured out, already has about 2 seconds on the field. Austin Reedy for second and Ross Harlow for third. Joe Sanchez there in the 4th spot and Lawson Peel in 5th. That's your top 5.
Absolutely. Number 99 led 28 laps last time out in COTA, so he knows the place really well. Looks like number 68 Ryan Kendall just had a bit of an issue. Looks like coming out of turns 13, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, looks like he's just approaching turns 15 and 16. So a bit of an issue, and you could be, under power, maybe just applying too much throttle. Could definitely be what happened, or he could have gotten help. Let's check it out on the replay, actually. Looks like he's a bit by himself, so I wonder if he outbraked himself.
Watch the gray and black car, number 68. We've seen this guy before as well. Think back to the Bluegrass iRacing series where we saw Justin Winters and Wyatt Brackett. But Kendall works into 12 right there, pops the curbing on the inside, gets back into the power, and I think it's in 13 or between 13 and 14 where he has his issue. Looks good through 13 and just kind of whips around on him.
I just lost the car. Luckily for him, wasn't collected by anyone, so he can quickly rejoin. Just going to lose a few spots, but that's something we need to keep an eye out for, Andrew. On the final few laps of each stage, when the tires are kind of worn out, we should expect to see more of them, as looks like we just saw a move happening down the inside of turn 3.
Curtis Kelly on Steven Stempian, that was good for 12th. And now Brandon Banks has a good opportunity at car 54. This would be for the 13th spot, as Reedy and Harlow do some battle up ahead, and it looks like Reedy falls back. Harlow's got the spot, and here comes Sanchez. He's going to take the 3rd spot away in Apex. He's really going to have that spot. Reedy, nothing he can do there.
Yeah, looks like he's just going to have to wait a little bit, maybe get a tow, and maybe outbreak the number 55 just ahead of him. But Sanchez definitely not messing around. As soon as the opportunity came, he took it. And, well, don't help Peel out just yet, Andrew. The number 53 is really approaching. We're just going to have to take a look. If Reedy looks down the inside, yes, he does. You can see the front end twitching a little bit. Is he going to hit that apex? Yes, he does. Locks up a little bit. Sanchez goes a little bit wide as well. So Reedy gets the position back, finds himself in 3rd place once again. But loses a bit of the apex, so we could see Sanchez getting the position back once again. And, yes, we do.
Maybe a slowdown for Reedy? That was really wide where he shouldn't have been. Now challenging car 53 of Lawson Peel into the stadium section there, so he's holding on to that 4th spot. Is he going to let that spot go? No, he's just on his back foot, I think. He is definitely trying to regroup, as Herb is slow here in the stadium section as well, through the grass, losing a lot of spots, a lot of big issues as these tires come up the temp. It's only lap 4, but it's 3.5 miles each lap, so that's a lot of wear and tear on these tires very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see, it looks like he's just struggling a little bit. Reedy really struggling with the tires. Peel tries to go down the inside of the final corner, just way too deep on the braking. That's going to cost him a 1X on the exit. And you can see he even a few more drivers, Andrew. And we're only, 1/4 of the way through the stage. So if drivers are already struggling with tires, they're going to have a long 15 laps to go.
Falling back a little bit in this top 10, you got Daniel Michel battling with Muscarella here. Swavely has gotten by Muscarella. That's good for the 8th, 9th, and 10th positions. Curtis Kelly in the 11th spot. Stempian in 12th. Brandon Banks in 13th. These guys that we were just looking at before taking those couple of replays. Ray Rogers in the 14th spot. Austin Shoemaker in 15th. Chris Shoemaker in 16th spot. So these two working together, it looks like, albeit split up a little bit. Chris falling back of Austin. I've noticed they are definitely working together. Not only are they obviously family with the Shoemaker names, but you've got Austin Shoemaker here in the Chase Briscoe, number 14, with Mahindra Tractors alongside of that car, and Chris Shoemaker in the Kevin Harvick gear wrench paint scheme. So clearly they're working together. They've got a Stewart-Haas kind of thing going on, and very close on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, it's really nice seeing, the same surname. Really nice seeing family driving together. We're kind of used to it with the Scotts, but, Shoemaker are definitely going to be trying to get the best of it. Looks like he's trying to fend off just behind him, so really applying a lot of pressure right here. The number 4 is feeling. Looks like he might lose the position in the apex of turn 11. Not quite close enough, but yeah, this looks like a really good battle to follow, Andrew.
You see as these guys work through turn 11, getting very close to that inside curving. We actually might have a battle here with Chris Shoemaker. No, Herb going to sit behind for just one moment. Although behind where you got Hendry to the inside of Stevens, this would be for the 18th position if they can sort this out in time. They'll go down to turn number 12. That's Stevens with the advantage into the corner. And we'll keep that advantage around the outside in turn 12. Car number 2 ahead of car number 11.
And it looks like the number 11 may have gotten a little bit of a compromise exit. You can see a few extra drivers. Looks like the number 43 looking down the inside of him. So that's sometimes the risk you take, going down the inside of a fellow driver. Well, you might just lose out on the next few corners. This is not an overtaking opportunity, Andrew. This sequence of corners, I would really expect to see an extra driver, looking down the inside of it, since it's a double apex, but looks like not for the time being. This battle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, so really interesting to keep an eye on.
Sean Kayla is just behind in that 43 car. And this is just inside the top 20, so these guys likely not thinking much about the stage at this point. As we work a little past quarter way through the stage, as Kalis might have an opportunity to get this spot, maybe not. A good launch out of the corner for car 11. Hendry will hang on to it. Now a drag race up this front stretch. Maybe Hendry will will lose this spot to Kalis. Very, very close as they work towards turn number 1. Kalis well down to the inside. Hendry setting up for maybe an over-under. But he's a little too far back to do it for now. Will he try and turn 2? No, he won't. Right behind, you've got Curry and Kendall. But these guys likely not thinking much about the stage at this point. They're just trying to get through this race. And obviously they're thinking about the stage in terms of strategy, but they're not working too much on points here as, woo, some more battles there into turn 1. In fact, Holdcroft just went around right in front of us. Right on the big Echo Park logo there outside of the corner. But stage points, really, if you're outside of 15th or so, likely not really on your mind. You're a little ways back. You don't want to burn these tires up too much. You want to have something there at the end in case who knows what could change. And of course, you've also got to hit your fuel number. You want to make sure, well, I say hit your fuel number. You don't want to use too much fuel. Now, I doubt we're going to use too much fuel in 20 laps, but still, point stands. And this is also a good chance to figure out exactly how your tire is going to wear throughout the race. I know a lot of guys in iRacing, yes, they do put time in throughout the week to figure out how the tire is going to wear throughout the course of a run. A lot of guys don't have that opportunity. They don't have the chance to go through a full fuel run, a full tire run, and figure out exactly how the car is going to handle it, especially with these heightened temperatures. We can bring this back up again here, JP. It is warm, 83 degrees in the air. That's 124 on the racetrack. If they have not had a chance to practice with these conditions for a long period of time, this is really valuable time at that point. As you can see, Ray Rogers in the grass in the stadium section here. Gets the car back right and rejoined. But seriously, I mean, this is really valuable time for anybody who maybe couldn't practice throughout the week.
Oh, absolutely. And even if you practice, you could have put 1,000 laps in practice in. Well, this temperature, Andrew, I don't think I've seen for quite a long time something this high up. So, I mean, you could have, set up many practice sessions to, essentially nail down everything to make sure you know how your car is going to behave. And, well, the highest temperature you may have hit it was, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So now with 125, 124 on the track, it's a whole new challenge. So, as you mentioned, the first stage for these drivers might be, a reconnaissance stage, seeing how the car reacts. It looks like Shane White, it looks like he came, well, in touch with the wall. It looks like he's already back to the pit lane. So, a few drivers may have already been struggling with the higher temperatures and the loss of grip.
Let's see if we can go back and find the issue here for Wyatt. We got to go back a ways, it looks like, but we can certainly give it a shot. And let's see, we can go back a little further. He's already got damage here. This is in the stadium section. We'll see if there was anything after this. He's clearly already picked up some damage in that number 71. The Mohawk Foundation Toyota Camry not looking too good. It's just, yeah, already got a lot of battle scars at this point in the lap. I suppose we can go back and see what might have led up to this. I'd imagine he pitted in response to an incident. He also may have just picked up damage on the curbs. And oh, we just caught it. This will be out of turn number 20, and this explains, I mean, he had to go a whole lap with all of this damage and then come in and get it fixed. So keep an eye here on the black and pink number 71. And he's got the 26 car just behind. Still learning some numbers. That is Logan Sturgeon, who is now in 38. So these guys 38, 39th now as a result of this accident out of turn 20.
Yeah, you can see Shane just went a little bit too wide. Well, actually, really wide. Almost going to the gravel trap, and then he rejoins. Oh, he spins the tires on the grass.
Man. And for Sturgeon, he was absolutely an innocent bystander in all of that. Yeah, they were battling a little bit, sure, but completely innocent in all of that, and certainly did nothing to warrant that. Now, as we were just talking about heightened track temps, JP, look at this. We got a little bit of cloud cover over the speedway. In fact, we could bring up some of our blimps. We just caught this one random spot of a bit of cloud cover. This is going to bring that track temp just down a little bit. You can already see down 2 degrees. So this will change things maybe a bit. And if some more of these clouds pop over the speedway, who knows? This track might just change a little. It's not going to change much. It's still nice and warm out there, but it's going to change a little.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 degrees on this short time. It could definitely, you know, lead up to this track cooling down quite a lot. Obviously, if a few drivers are struggling with the higher temperatures, they're going to be hoping that this cloud just stays in for the duration of the race. But if it is just momentarily, some drivers might just think that. It looks like Justin Erb is still battling with Shoemaker. This is for the 18th spot, if I'm not mistaken. No, now 15th spot, so a few positions made by them. But they're still in that battle, and they didn't really, you know, distance themselves. And, well, Erb couldn't really get past Shoemaker.
Yeah, Erb not able to take this spot away just yet, so Austin and Chris are still nose to tail in the standings in 14th and 15th, albeit separated by some 4 seconds now as we work lap number 8 of 46. You can see Miranda, top of your ticker, has just continued to work away in a class of his own. And actually, we left it at a bad time. Erb is starting to get very, very close to Shoemaker there in the S's. We'll come right back to it, but we will touch on Miranda in just a few moments. 7 seconds clear of the leader, and Lawson Peel, he's got a problem.
Got a problem. Looks like that's might be turn 11. Yes, it is. So maybe just getting to the power again, Andrew. If you've seen this, he might be the third car that we have seen, at least on the tarmac. Obviously, we just saw a car losing on the grass, but coming into turn 11, you can see big braking zone, using a little bit of that curb and the runoff area. Goes big under braking. No, yeah, Austin just came in barreling in. Well, that was contact. So I take back what I said, and, well, this one wasn't by himself.
No, it was not. Let's take the onboard there from Reedy's perspective and see what might have happened. That was a big mistake out of our points leader. On board with him now. Now, I wonder if there was lockup. Well, listen for lockup here. He just got in deep. He just got in really deep. There was no lockup.
I just kind of misjudged the corner. Just came out of way too much speed, and at that point on, maybe it was just a bit of target fixation as well, trying to get the car stopped. And luckily for him, it was just a bit of contact. I'm pretty sure both cars came out with no damage. The number 53, obviously, as we just had the number 10 spinning just right in front of him, and whoa, that was a close rejoin, wasn't it?
That it was. That was very close for Wyatt Brackett there. Big thank you to our partners with the MPI Cup Series, of course, Max Pappas Innovations, MPI, as well as Auto Tempest and SimMax. That was very close for Wyatt out of turn 20. He gets back rolling nice and quickly. Nice little self-spin in turn 20. That is absolutely going to be a theme of many drivers' days, I think. That is how COTA is going to go for a lot of these guys, and even a lot of these road courses, I think, in general. That is how things tend to go for a lot of oval racers on road courses, but a good recovery there for car 10, gets back after it and holding the spot over Muscarella, at least for now.
Yeah, at least for the time being. Looks like he was struggling a little bit with tire temperature, maybe after, that burnout that he did to rejoin, and you can see just kind of just losing a little bit of time, trying to regain maybe that tire temperature. And obviously, Andrew, as soon as you spin, you lose a little bit of that confidence that you have in the car. So trying to get that back corner after corner, especially down here. He's coming up to turn 11. This is going to be a really tricky zone, especially, just how big of a braking zone it is. And the exit is so much important. So he might lose a little bit of time here trying to regain that confidence.
Muscarella very wide there in 11. That's going to blow this battle up. That's good for Wyatt Brackett. Not so good for Alex Muscarella, who drops well back now out of that battle. Over a second back now of Wyatt. Shoemaker's getting close to Stepien, and I should specify that it's Austin Shoemaker getting close here to Stepien. This is for position 13 if he can get there.
And he might just look down the inside of turn 12. It's a bit too far away, 4/10 of a second. He's going to close in just a little bit, so not too ambitious. Actually going to close in quite a bit, visually at least. You can see the gap there dropping to 3.5 momentarily, so still sticking at 4.5 of a second. So Shoemaker trying to make some inroads right here. And this is, I guess, another good thing about road racing, Andrew. You can kind of see where, you know, people are different. You know, the driving style is kind of different, and you can often see the car closing in at some section of the racetrack and kind of lose on the other section. So this is going to be, you know, essentially a chess game, trying to tackle your opponent at your best time and at their worst. And hopefully we're going to see plenty of moves happen, and you can see a few different lines once again through turns 17 and 18, and well, that's just going to be the trend.
This is for 18th now. Kalis and Curry, they start to split up, actually. Kalis is actually maybe on the move, it looks like, as Stevens runs wide. Oh, boy, that was very wide for car 2. Got just offline and definitely in trouble. Is Kalis going to take an opportunity? Not just yet for turn 19. Sets him up maybe for the exit. Kalis right down to the apex. Couldn't quite get powered down. Will stay behind, but Kalis definitely trying to get on by this car 2. Into turn 20.
Looking at all possible overtakings, because obviously, Andrew, if the number 43 cannot get past, the number 77 might definitely try to. So it's a really odd situation, not quite odd, but a really difficult situation where you're trying to attack a defender at the same time. You might be vulnerable to, you know, attacking, and obviously might lose a position. That's definitely not what he wants. You can see even looking a bit defensive on that one. So he's certainly on the back foot right here.
As much action as we've seen to this point, there's a whole lot more going further back. Here we go. Bunch of cars in line as they work down the front stretch. Garrett Brown just lost some spots. Isaac Mock as well as Dakota Curtis takes a look to the inside here of Dylan Hastings. This is 24th for Hastings, 25th for Curtis, 26th for Mock. And look at that, maybe position change there. No, Curtis can't quite get it. Garrett Brown in picture is also 27th, as well as Parker Bland at 28th. So these guys well down the order, JP, but having a whole lot of fun back here, or at least it looks like fun. I wouldn't imagine they are all that happy in the car all the time. Probably struggling a little bit, but hey, maybe they are having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though you might be battling towards the bottom end of the grid, it's still lots of fun to go side by side, to go down the inside of someone, around the outside, you name it.
Yeah, always, well.
Yeah, a little bit of damage. So maybe with the damage, he might not be smiling too much, Andrew, but I'm pretty sure if he's battling and making moves, well, oh! Yeah.
Good catch.
That was really wild.
Good catch there out of Dakota Curtis. Just outside the top 20 as Kendall and Kalis battle at the turn 12. Kalis now falling back a little bit. He was moving up. In fact, he was just battling with Travis Stevens. Now he's back down to the 20th. Curry and Kendall just went by. We'll see how long that holds. As you can see, even cars behind. Progar, Easley, and Hendry. Actually, no. Easley isn't in this yet. There's a lapped car, it looks like. Car 51. That is Zach Wilson, who was 2 laps down. There's now a couple of cars out of this race, those including Shane Wyatt and Brad Fulham. Ray Rogers also stopped in the pit lane. And Zach Wilson is the last of the cars running. He is 37th, 2 laps down. 1 lap behind the next closest. That is Logan Sturgeon, who's close to going a lap down. Hastings and Curtis doing some battle here. This is through the stadium section.
Yeah, side by side in the exit of turn 16. You can see they're both going to try to go side by side. Now the number 8 will be on the back foot as the number 7 overtakes him down the inside. So the outside lane definitely not working on this stage. You can see the number 8 trying to get a position back down into 19. Can he look down the inside? Not quite close enough. So unfortunately from attacking, well, he lost the position. Now he has to attack all over again to make sure he's on, well, not even gaining, not losing a position. But look at this, Andrew. 5 cars battling for 1 position. This is going to get fun down into turn 1.
Down the front stretch, or I should say up the front stretch here at Coda, they will go. Another battle further back in the field. Justin Winter is actually not so much of a battle. He's slow quickly. I say slow quickly. He's slow currently. Just lost spots to Charles Feltz, and it looks like James Kunkel as well. Oh, and he's going to go around. Maybe good catch, but he's trying to get down to the pit lane, it looks like. So problems here for car 88. He's under power, but I think some ejection currently, and that might have been Alt F4. I think definitely not too happy there in the 88 camp. Back up front, though, we talked about Mario Miranda. We said we'd circle back to him. Well, here he is. Car 99, well out front of the field, and I just don't think anybody's going to touch him today. He's led every single lap so far. And he's got nearly 10 seconds back to Ross Harlow in 11 laps. I mean, he's just a second quicker than the field on most laps. I mean, this is really impressive. In qualifying, there was, what, one driver within a second of him? He's on rails.
Yeah, absolutely. He has the car toned down. He's, I mean, hitting pretty much every mark, if not every. So, you know, a really good qualifying, I was going to mention. A really good race so far from the number 99. It looks like mistake-free. And I'm pretty sure, Andrew, I was going to mention, he does not have the fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure the fast lap still goes to Harlow. And I was expecting after Harlow got past Reedy, he may have put up a fight, but, well, definitely that did not happen. You know, the gap is still increasing, so the number 99 might be pacing himself to, you know, essentially save a little bit of tires towards this back end of the stage, but boy, he's looking really, really good, isn't he?
Yeah, you're right. Harlow was quick early, but has certainly fallen off at this point. The most recent lap time for Miranda was a 2:17.347. In fact, we should have it here. You can see previous lap, 2:17.347. His fastest lap was a 2:16.685, which is a half second slower than Ross Harlow's best lap, but you can see the difference there. His previous lap, a 2:18.18, that is well over almost a full second behind Miranda per lap right now. So definitely Ross has driven the tires off his car a little bit, but I think that was worth it. You might not get out there to Mario in this first run, but he got himself into second, and that, well, is obviously next best, and is also 9 stage points here in just a few more laps. So that's plenty worth it for Ross. He took the battles he had to, battled when he needed to, got a few spots, and is looking pretty good for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's an early gamble, obviously, but as you mentioned, you know, he got the track position. He's currently in second, and as soon as the stage ends, he's going to be on match with Miranda, so it's going to be interesting to see, Andrew, if he's going to approach the same way, you know, pushing a little bit early to try to get a track position, or he's just going to do what the number 99 it looks like he's doing, you know, just taking a little bit slower, making sure the stage is consistent. It's just going to be a waiting game. It looks like Warren Keith looks like he just spun around on the exit of 13, and that is definitely not the first car we've seen doing that.
No, it is not, but it is the first time, at least that I've seen, for Warren Keith making a big mistake today. And again, this is a driver I would have expected to be a whole lot better today. Now, there's still some time, but this is very uncharacteristic for Warren. Through 13, just the rear end comes around a lot like Kendall earlier.
Yeah, so just a few drivers struggling. Obviously, Andrew, we're on the back. We're in the second half of the stage, so tires are, I guess, they're on the end of their life, you know. So it's gonna be a struggle point from this on out. And I wonder if the temperature looks like the cloud has moved away. So I wonder if the track temperature has risen again.
That's a good question. Track temp, it is up to, well, it's down to 120 actually. We didn't see exactly how low it got at one point in time, but I'm sure it got a little below that. I wouldn't be surprised if it got down to 118 or so and has come back up a little bit since the sun has taken back over. About 8 laps left in this first stage. It'll be 7 when we come back around to the start-finish line. Mario Miranda down in turn 11, and he's going to have some lap traffic here soon. He's already lapped Zach Wilson and Logan Sturgeon. Dustin Reeves, it looks like, is next up in car 6. There he is in position 34. So that's going to make things a little more difficult on Mario Miranda. And really, I don't think these guys are going to challenge him at all, but they are still cars that'll be somewhat in the way. And if any of these guys make a mistake trying to get out of the way, JP, that's a big concern as well for Mario. Is he able to get by them without too much issue if they do make that mistake, if they do go offline, and if they are unpredictable in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. That's you know, the risk that the leader in any other car on the lead lap will do as soon as they're passing a back marker. We saw Andrew cars being collected, you know, by no mistake of their own. We just saw a couple of laps ago. Can't quite remember the car number, but he was just collected by a driver who went wide and clipped the wheel on the grass. So that could definitely happen. Looks like Miranda, you know, just made his way through the first back marker. Not the first one that he's seen all race, but definitely that one. So, you know, luckily for him, some of those, you know, just take their foot off the gas, get off the racing line, and essentially just allow him by in. Well, the number 99, Angel, looks like he's not immune to tire trouble. We saw the car getting quite a bit squirrely out of 19.
Yeah, the handling is going away on everybody's car, and when we saw the track temp early, we knew it was going to be one of those kinds of days where everybody struggles with this, but definitely handling going away for everybody. All 40 cars, or however many are still running, they're all starting to battle it here. Here's a look at Brian Curry, Travis Stevens, and some others. Stevens in the 17th spot, Curry in 18th, Kendall in 19th, and Sean Kayla still in 20th. So we've seen these guys before, but now in a different order. As you can see, they're also catching Zach Wilson in car 51, that lap car we talked about a little while ago. And, oh, Wilson, massive crash there in the stadium section. He's already towed back to the pit lane.
Oh, that's going to be an unfortunate trip down the pit lane for him. And, well, that's just got to hurt Andrew. Close to the end of stage number 1. Really, really close. And I wonder if that was all by himself.
And he had already had some trouble earlier. I can't tell if it was a spin or whatever, or if he had come into the race a little bit late, maybe started from pit lane and maybe had an extra few spins from there. But he had already had issues. So we'll go on board and see what happens to him here. He was already in 36th, and you know what? By that, since his name and whatnot is not loading here, that tells me he did not start the race. I think that's why he was already one lap down here. And he will have a spin, it looks like, in turn 13. So we'll see what happens to car 51. And we've seen 13 be a trouble spot already. Kendall, Keith, and some others, and he just missed the corner, gets into the dirt, and I think that was it. He was done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately for him, just went too wide. Not too wide, but just carried a bit too much speed on the apex. And after that, just unfortunately for him, unfortunately early end of the race. And you can see a few extra cars passing that back marker, Andrew. Looks like we might have a few battles as we approach the final 5 laps of the stage.
Joe Sanchez
catching,
yeah, he's close. This is for that second spot, and you can see Ross Arlo starting to get a little bit wide, definitely hanging that tail out. So cars 5 and 55 getting close to each other here. Reedy and Peel are battling just behind. So we've got 2 great battles in this top 5. We'll stick with these guys just a little ways further ahead. Harlow and Sanchez doing battle to turn 19. Sanchez, of course, high off of that win last week at Atlanta. This is about as far from Atlanta as you could possibly get in terms of racetrack similarity, but hey, if it works, it works.
Absolutely. And remember, the number 55 Sanchez didn't have a lot of problem passing Reedy. Anyway, didn't have to battle anywhere near as much as Harlow, so he might have better tires toward this back end of the stage, Andrew. So he's allowed essentially to push a little bit more. So Harlow might be on the back foot. Looks like Peel got past Reedy on those corners just as we cut. So the number 53 ahead of the number 96, who's moving backwards on this race.
Harlow and Sanchez into the S's now, and they're starting to catch up to car number 3. That is James Kunkel, who's now 1 lap down. Feltz will be the next up for leader Mario Miranda. And lapping at 2:18s, that means that they're, 17, 16 seconds behind the next lap car. At least Miranda is, so that's kind of the delta there for those guys. Another battle further back, Stevens and Kendall. We keep flipping back between the same battles, it feels like. These guys have just stayed perpetually close, and Kendall, again, very close into 20. Now opens the door for Kalis up the inside. Was very deep into 20. Kalis trying to take the opportunity away from him. He can't quite do so.
Yeah, looks like not quite close enough. He's definitely looking down the inside, already down into turn 1, showing his nose. Are we going to see a move happening? Not quite. Does the number 58 go too deep? Looks like it doesn't. The number 43 right on the apex, but not carrying too much apex speed, so he's going to stick with his position and even lose a little bit of time as we have even more battles. Looks like this one is just out of the stadium section.
Bill Schoonover and Joseph Mahar. This is for 30th in the racetrack, just behind Daniel Holdcroft. Mahar in that 19 car and Schoonover in the 9, and Bill is going to give that spot up, it looks like, when it's all said and done here. Now, Bill started in the 26th position, down 5 spots pretty early in this race. There's still a lot of racing to go. In fact, we're coming up 1/3 of the way through this race as a whole. And Mahar, well, started 27th, he's down to 30th. So you guys have both slid a little bit since the start of the race and starting to work their way back up.
Absolutely. This is really good to see. Drivers making a few positions extra. And look at this battle. Mahar is going to get a punt almost to the back end. So really close to getting hit right there from the number 9. But luckily for both of them, Andrew, they avoid contact.
And do you see that shade? It's starting to get a little bit dark here at COTA once more. It's starting to, show some cloud cover here one more time. So the track temp going to come down. Here's second and third. Harlow and Sanchez very close once more. This might be what Sanchez needs in order to get that second spot. And, of course, that's a stage point as well. That's big.
That's absolutely. With a few laps to go, I feel like Sanchez really does have a bit better of a tire situation than Harlow just in front of him. You can see doing a minor corrections to pretty much hit the apex. And Harlow struggling, looks like a little bit of the front and rear end of that car. And the gap just closes, corner after corner. Sanchez looks like he needs to be close right here on the exit. Harlow looks like took a better line. So on to turn 11, that braking zone, Sanchez might not be close enough yet. He's definitely too far away to think about a dive bomb entry, but it's all about the exit right here.
And stock car racing on road courses is all about corner exit. You've got to get power down just the right way. There's so much power in these cars, but if you use it the wrong way, if you light up the rears, you're going to have a bad time. And I think we've seen the effects of that throughout the course of the day. You've just got to get a good run out of the corner. Think about karting, right? You want to square off the corner so that you get a good run. You essentially make the straightaway just that little bit longer by being able to be in power and only have to turn the wheel marginally. So the longer you can be in power on exit of the corner, the faster you'll be as a whole, the better off you'll be, especially in these battles. You've got to make sure you maximize that corner exit, and right now Harlow is doing exactly that. Yes, I think Harlow has burned those tires up a bit more than Sanchez, but he's doing a much better job at getting a launch out of corners right now, and even when he gets a little bit sideways, he just looks good on corner exit. I think that's the strength currently for car 5.
Absolutely, and if he keeps this up for the last 3 laps, he will have that second place locked down. Obviously, there's still a long time to go. He still needs to nail that. And it looks like this Curtis Kelly is still trying to find a way around Muscarella for this battle for 9th place. And they're not too far away, Andrew, from Swavely just ahead of them. And oh, Muscarella goes really wide. He locks up that front tire. They're going to drag race out of 16. But looks like the number 48 still holds that position, holding the inside line, and there's nothing the 29 can do yet.
Curtis Kelly's got to wait just maybe one more opportunity potentially. Almost had it there, but you want to be very, very careful, especially once you get into this top 10. You don't want to have to rough a guy up that you might have to race later in the race. Of course, we saw the ending at COTA earlier today with, I won't tell you who won, but the car spun around there. That is Charles Feltz in car 75, but you saw the ending earlier with AJ Allmendinger and, I got to think here, Ross Chastain. Now, that's what I'm going to say, but they certainly swapped some paint, even with Alex Bowman there. You don't want to have to upset somebody in case you get back into that scenario where you're racing somebody heads up at the end of the race, and you need them to not lean on you, potentially, in order to win this thing. So, the spin there for Feltz, and I noticed the pit stop. Shoemaker in the pit lane. I wonder, do we see the rest of the field short pit here, take this stop before the stage, or is this a little bit odd?
Yeah, I wonder the same. Well, we have another car coming down.
But those are both Shoemakers. Those are teammates.
Yeah. So there you go. So it's obviously similar strategy, the same strategy for them, Andrew. And obviously not being from the Cup side, I wonder why did they pit before the caution flag? Why didn't they not pit with everybody?
Well, I don't know that we're going to see too many guys come in. I think we're good for this first stage of racing, but the big advantage to it is to basically get their pit stop out of the way before the stage. Think back to Steve Singer in SCAR this past season, where he would pit before the stage or before the end of that first halfway stint, if you will. You get the pit stop out of the way early, and then you don't have to pit at the stage break. So it allows you to pick up some spots at the stage break caution as long as you hang on to the lead lap. And for right now, Shoemaker will do exactly that. They've still got nearly 60 seconds back to race leader Mario Miranda, so they're safe to do so. You saw Daniel Holdcroft there a little bit slow. He had an issue in the stadium section that time by, it looked like. So as we near the end of stage number 1, things are holding nice and tidy. There aren't too many battles in this racetrack, but if you're enjoying today's coverage, if you're enjoying today's racing, let us know. Tweet to us, post to us on Facebook and Instagram, tweet to us on Twitter using hashtag MPI Cup Series. Join the conversation. We've got our own social media going on tonight, and we certainly appreciate that conversation. I want to know what you guys think of things tonight as Mario Miranda leading the way, still by 10 seconds. Harlow there in second, Sanchez in third, Peel fourth, Reedy fifth. The rest of the top 10 actually is held about steady. Keith, Brackett, Swavely, Muscarella, and Kelly. Been a very calm last couple of laps, all, aside from a few little battles, and even this battle, Muscarella and Kelly now in the pit lane.
Yeah, looks like a few extra drivers coming down the pit lane. And I wonder, Andrew, obviously they're coming 2 laps before the caution flag, so this could definitely hurt him by the end of stage number 2, could it not?
Well, they'll definitely have to pit in that second stage as long as they're good to do. You might see some of these guys try to do a 2-stop, but I would imagine stage 2 is a 2-stop run to the end, or sorry, a 1-stop run to the end as opposed to a 2-stop. Probably split it in half, especially with the caution using up a few laps, so that should be cut and dry. Kendall is also slow here, but he is not pitting. He is out in the dirt in turn 19, it looks like. Yes, it is turn 19, so he's going to give up some time. Next car to come around would be Shoemaker, and Shoemaker will go on by, so Kendall drops behind Austin Shoemaker in car 14, but in front of Chris Shoemaker in car 4. You saw the pit stop there for Curtis Kelly. He is back onto the speedway. He is now in 14th position, so he gives up a stage point for this strategy. Curry and Kalis do some battle. This is turn 1.
Yeah, down in turn 1, you can see this beautiful battle, 3 cars. And, well, Andrew, we haven't seen it. I don't think we've seen too much action down into turn 1, not anywhere near as I was expecting, especially that wide corner. But look at these two. Looks like the number 77 got a better line, I was just going to mention, but the driver behind him got it really wrong through that last part. So tires, obviously, they're going to be the talking point, especially down the S's. You can see a few drivers making a better lines than others. But this one, it's a fun little battle with the final few laps. You can see the number 77 really getting a good line, essentially pushing the 17. And we might see a move down in the inside of turn 11.
Ooh, Travis Stevens slow in 10. Here we go. Progar up the inside of car number 2. Stevens, he's going to take that spot away. Progar right to that apex. Really nice move there out of Chris. And now you've got Travis Stevens and Brian Curry side by side. Now, it looks like Progar and Stevens are Progar and Curry are teammates. Stevens the oddball out here, and they're all ahead of Kalis, who is an oddball out as well. But cars 17 and 77 should be teammates, maybe working together potentially. I thought Progar would have come over and helped his teammate out to draft on by, but he gets the spot anyways. Curry goes on by Stevens. That is good for 15th for Progar and 16th for Curry.
Yeah, this battle is still going to keep on going. Curry almost getting rear-ended by Stevens, so a little bit. And it looks like the number 31 is just wide. It looks like that's the exit of 18. So Holdcroft still a little bit of issues for the number 31. That's going to cost him, looks like not a few positions, but that's also a bit of damage to his back end, isn't it, Andrew? And this battle still rages on. The number 77 is still trying to get by. And as you mentioned, that is good for 15th place.
So a whole lot happening here right at the back end of stage number 1. Our race leader getting ready to cap things off in this first go of things. And he is down at turn number 12 already, so he will take the white flag on the stage in just a few more moments. He's got, again, 10 seconds back to Ross Harlow. Now, he opened that gap up, JP, and he has since, I think, held that. He is definitely stagnated. I think that might be by choice. I don't think he wants to burn these tires up too much. I think he just wants to hold this car in one piece. Of course, if you're out there by 10 seconds, you've got plenty of time before anybody is going to catch you. Just keep the car moving in the right direction, and you're going to be fine.
And this could also be, a bit of that practice that we talked about, putting those laps in practice. He knows how the car will react, so maybe he knows that if he's just pushes a little bit too much, he might run out of tires on the bottom end and might be more, vulnerable to mistakes on by himself. So, just keeping controlling that pace, 9-10 seconds, it's plenty of time to second place. And, well, with one more laps to go on this stage, Andrew, I doubt he might lose those 10 seconds. So, still it looks like all calm and controlled, and you can see it just by the look of the car going through these corners.
White flag on stage 1, now out for race leader Mario Miranda. He'll work up the hill at turn 1. And this should be a nice, quiet last lap to the first stage for him before he gets a playoff point and 10 stage points. The next car he might have to lap would be Dakota Curtis, but Dakota's well up the road by about 30 seconds or so. So, 20 seconds of change. So it shouldn't be an issue here. He should not catch car number 1. Should not be a problem. A little further back, we talked about Joe Sanchez potentially having something for Ross Harlow. I'm not so sure that he's going to. He has dropped about a second behind car 5. You can see the gap there. It's not over yet. That was very wide for Harlow. This might be an opportunity for Joe Sanchez.
Yeah, might just open the door, and a few mistakes like that, Andrew, will definitely bring that gap back down. So Harlow, after, being quite comfortable, he goes right back down into the line of action.
Oh, I see. Yellow's already out.
Oh.
They got us. They pulled a fast one on us there. So that's why Harlow was checking up. I didn't even, I'm so used to covering road course racing and not worrying about those yellow lights on top of the ticker. When we're on an oval, I get very used to watching those oval lights in case we have an issue, those caution lights. But I get so sucked into just waiting on the race to end, really, with the North American Racing League and such. I forget those yellow lights are up there. So caution is out for our stage break. And Miranda picks up those 10 points. Harlow in second will take a 9. Then Sanchez with 8. Peel with 7. And so on and so forth down through your top 10. Brandon Banks taking the final stage point. This will give everybody a chance to come in, of course, take some tires, take some fuel, get back on the same page here. JP, if you're out there, obviously it's 4 tires and fuel the whole way, but how important, as a driver, how important is it to nail every bit of your pit stop, get into the box quickly, get out of the box quickly? How important is all of that?
Oh, I mean, it's essential at this point. Obviously, if you just overshoot by a little bit, you're gonna have to engage reverse. You're gonna lose those precious few seconds. And down in the pit lane where speed is reduced, it could cost way more than that single second that you see on screen. So at this point, it's all about nailing that entry, nail the slowdown, nailing the pit box, and obviously the exit as well. It's very, very important. And well, be careful as well with the penalties. It's really easy to get a penalty on the pit lane, and those will definitely cost you all the hard work you've put in on the previous 20 laps.
As Miranda waits on the pace car here, we've got a whole lap before pit stops, which means we're going to go PitStop TV side by side for just one moment. We'll be right back to you with pit lane coverage in just a few moments. A big shout out though to MPI and Auto Tempest, and a message from them here.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team of Permanent Makeup and Cryo.
Formal presentation of my 2 latest creations, the MPI Sync Chassis and the MPI Foldable Stand. When I created the MPI chassis, I wanted to have everything included. What it means. So in the MPI chassis, I wanted to have everything you need besides the electronics. So it has the keyboard tray, mouse tray, adjustability, TV stand, computer stand, super stiff pedal assembly, a seat that if you don't have a lot of space, you can fold it. If you have limited space, I solved your problem. The MPI wheel stand, you can use any component you want on it, and at night, fold in half, very limited space, and you can put it away. You can use your own chair, your own TV, problem solved.
Polar.
Yeah.
Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide, even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
There is Max Papis in the Ferrari. As great a race as Ferrari has ever won.
The steering wheel for me has always been a sensitive spot. There's a whole experience there that we're all trying to refine. Max Pappas, he asked me one day, he says, what can I do in a wheel? I said, well, with the new
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. by combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to PitStop TV. Full screen this time, and pit stops are underway. Pit lane is a very, very busy place. Currently, Mario Miranda, race leader, in and taking 4 tires and fuel, as is the entirety of this lead lap. It looks like 2 cars staying out. Those are the Shoemakers, but everybody else in, and many cars off and away already. Miranda leading the way off of pit lane. Everybody taking 4 tires and fuel. No surprise there.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the struggle with tires. Obviously, drivers just topping up on fuel, probably enough to make it to the end of the race. But yeah, looks like we had a pretty busy pit stop cycle, Andrew, but looks like everybody made it through safely. I don't see maybe a lot of position switched, at least in the top 5.
Not a whole lot changed there aside from Shoemaker and Shoemaker staying out there. Let's go ahead and check in then with our, previous race leader, if we could find car number 99. This was a really big stage for Mario Miranda. Really, really big, I think, to go out there and set a statement. Obviously, anytime you lead a whole bunch of laps on a road course, that's a good time, but especially when you go out there and lead every single lap in stage number 1, Mario Miranda, I think, is setting a tone. Mario, really good first stage there for you. We know you won last season out here at COTA, but this stage, I think, second to none, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, last year at COTA, this stage is where I had all my problems having, during someone in turn 1 and then spinning myself through the S's and then having them way up through the field. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Obviously, tires have been concerned. How big of a deal was that in that first stint?
Actually, it wasn't that bad for me. After I got like a 2-second gap, I was able to manage my tires pretty well. Little wheel spin out through corners. I pitted there, looked at my tire percentage. They were pretty high still. So I feel pretty good. Only thing would be locking up. As the run goes on, it locks up a little too easy. So I've been messing with the brake bias.
Now, what's the strategy here for this next stage? Is it a full? It shouldn't be a full run to the end, right? At least 1 stop. Is it 2 stop maybe?
We saw the possibility of a 2-stop happening, but with us being to the green right now and growing green on lap 24, we should be able to make it. And then there might be that one unlucky caution, and then if that caution comes out, we'll definitely be able to make it.
And this is the first road course race that you guys have had with this new car. How different are, well, I say this season anyway, and there have been a whole lot of updates. I know you guys ran this car in Season 4 last time around, but things have completely changed. What's different? What are you getting used to? Obviously, you still have the same 5 gears that you had last season, but it's got to at least be some kind of different, right?
Oh, it's completely different. Last season's car was about 3 seconds quicker than like the updated next gen right now. In the last season car, I was going up to 5th gear on the straightaways. Right now, I don't touch 5th. I don't get close to it at all, to be honest. I'm going up to 4th. This car is a lot more unstable too. It's a pain in the butt to go through tight, slow corners because it just likes to spin out when the RPMs get too low. So it's a completely different car. Honestly, I feel like I'm driving the next gen car right now.
One more question for you and we'll let you go. How big of a deal are those little patches of shade that you guys get, those clouds that come on by every once in a while?
I think it more affects you like visually because with iRacing graphics, when it shades the track, it makes the sky pop up a lot clearer, and then it's kind of hard to see braking zones and apexes. So, but you do get almost a little bit of a grip performance from it. So, yeah, keep the clouds coming, honestly.
All right, Mario, really good first stage for you. Congratulations, certainly on the first half of this race, but you got a little ways to go. Best of luck to you. We'll see you in probably 24 laps or so.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That is Mario Miranda, a first stage, really well done there. Emerson, I'll have to be honest, I don't recall exactly where he was. It was either Rankin Bros Racing or Burnt Rubber, but if you could help us out there, that'd be fantastic. We appreciate everything you do, good sir. That said, JP, this car 99, so good today. So good. Do you think anything changes, especially with these couple of cars staying out in front of him?
I don't think so. Obviously, it's going to be another challenge, getting overtaking those two ahead of him, and obviously he's going to be vulnerable to the drivers behind. But if he's on clear air, Andrew, and if he's leading, even if he's in second, third place, I mean, behind those two guys that have pitted with him, I don't think they're stopping the number 99. So it's going to be interesting. And I love, obviously speculating about it, but it just looks so dominant, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mario Miranda going to be hard to argue with as far as race winner today at Circuit of the Americas. Let's go ahead and check in on the weather as things have changed. 83 degrees in the air. Track temp has dropped a little bit. We are working a little deeper into the afternoon, but I think the fact that these guys aren't actually at speed right now is cooling this racetrack down just a tad little bit. We'll see if that trend continues. Winds are still out of the southeast, 12 miles an hour. I don't think that is going to change. It has been a very stagnant Texas afternoon. We've only had the one lead change that just came out of this pit stop. We went caution for 2 laps. Of course, for the stage, it'll be 3 here in a moment. We don't anticipate any other yellows unless we really stack the field up. We don't have rain to change things up, of course. It's a very calm, I think, cut and dry day.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, only one lead change, Andrew, and compared to last time out, we've been here on season 4. Well, they've been here on season 4. We had 8 lead changes, so it could be a sign of things to come. This last stage, these last few laps, it could, bring us a lot of things happening. But, well, I mean, I'm ready for 7 lead changes. What about you?
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some more in here at the end. Obviously, I think we'll get a few on this restart, but it's going to be hard to argue with car 99, maybe car 5. Ross Harlow could do something here. And as far as laps led in the previous races here by each winner, Warren Keith led 31 en route to victory in a 35-lap race 2 seasons ago. And last season, Miranda led 28 en route to victory in a 50-lap race. This being 46 laps, Miranda's already got 21 laps led. I think he's going to hit that number. I really do think he's going to hit that number. Of course, anything could still happen, anything could still change, but it's looking likely.
Yeah, absolutely. And as soon as he gets past the Shoemaker, I mean, do you wonder, does he lead the rest of the race? If he does, it's just going to be a dominant day. But, Andrew, this is all speculation. Still plenty of racing to go, so it's only going to finish as soon as the checker flag drops and they cross over it. Until then, well, we actually have no idea what's about to happen.
Now, out of the 40 cars that started this race, we do have 35 still running. It looks like maybe 2 still in the pit lane taking service, and Holdcroft has been there for a while. So really, 33 cars are actively moving on this racetrack. 35 still left technically in the session. By all means, follow us along on social media. Going to keep pushing that throughout the course of the evening and throughout the course of the season. So get used to me saying it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, the whole shebang. We broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We put our social media updates, though, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Emerson Arden doing a fantastic job over there. I took a quick peek at them under our quick little side-by-side break, and they are looking rather spiffy this evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. I'm just excited we have a good-looking racetrack. We've got a good-looking racetrack, good-looking race cars, a really good league, a lot of great-looking paint schemes out there, and great drivers, great stories to talk about this evening. This is going to be a lot of fun, I think, on Sundays as we continue coverage here with the MPI Cup Series, brought to you by, well, of course, MPI, SimMax, and Auto Tempest. As the field is not looking formed up. I think we got one more caution lap here, JP. They're holding us up a little bit more. We're not going green until the completion of lap 24. That will be the start of lap 25. That's going to change things. Fuel no longer a concern, I don't think.
Yeah, my strategy might be thrown out of the window. So it's going to be interesting. So it only lasts tires, Andrew, and I guess it brings up a good point. Do you pit sometimes? During the last stage, do you pit early to have fresher tires during the early stage? Do you pit later, forcing yourself to drive on older tires, and towards the end having brand new sets? what exactly could be the strategy for the remaining 25, 22 laps actually?
Well, you know, we could always go ahead and ask somebody if you want. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how we can vary things up and maybe get somebody else that isn't Mario's teammate. Austin Shoemaker. You know what? He's going to come to the green flag here as the race leader for Prestige Worldwide, car number 14. And JP, we're going to bring him your way.
Well, this is going to be good. So, Austin, we just were speculating about a strategy of the last stage with 22 laps to go. What could we see in terms of the tire situation? How difficult was it the first hit for you on tires?
Honestly, after about 5 laps or so, it wasn't too bad. It started staying pretty consistent. You could tell a pretty good drop-off in the first 5 laps, but after that, it seemed like it's pretty consistent. I was running consistent times, I believe, around 220. So, not too big of a drop-off, but it takes a little bit for him to get warmed up.
And on this second stage, do you expect to essentially, split the stage in half when it comes to tires, or are you taking one stage longer than the other to try and different and try and catch a few other drivers?
I just pitted right there from the front, topped off, and took tires as well, so I'm hoping I can get the rest of the way on fuel where I don't have to stop anymore. So it should be cutting it close, but we'll see. Worth the gamble.
All right, so fuel is still a question mark for pretty much every single driver, maybe apart from you.
Yep. So we'll see.
Oh, it's going to be interesting then. Well, I cannot wait to see. Hopefully the strategy works out for you, and hopefully we can talk to you at the end of the race.
All right, thank you guys.
So Andrew, fuel's definitely still a concern, looks like it. Austin going for a big gamble, pitting early, getting fresher tires, but, well, he might have to fuel save a little bit if he wants to make it on the rest of fuel that he has in the car.
That admittedly is not what I would have expected.
Oh, definitely not. With 22 laps, I was expecting these guys to make it easy to the end of the race.
Yeah, so car 14 comes in, takes that bit of fuel. You can see Kunkel with a lot of damage just ahead. I believe Shoemaker and company up front, yes, pace car lights are extinguished, so we are getting ready for a restart here in just a few more moments. Make your picks now, ladies and gents. Who do you think wins this thing? Ross Harlow will restart on the front row with Chris Shoemaker. Mario Miranda now. This is the big effect of this this deal here is actually... Okay, there was only one line of cars. For a second, I was wondering if we were actually restarting single file, but you can see now that puts Harlow in second place for this restart. It just moves that whole bunch of cars up a little bit. I guess that first lane... Oh my goodness, that was close there through 12. But this puts Mario Miranda behind a car in Ross Harlow in front of everybody else. This is big. This is going to change things up a whole lot. Mario's going to have to work a whole lot more at this restart, a whole lot more at this race lead. Chris Shoemaker, rather, should be your race leader, and Harlow should be considered second. Maybe that's... I don't know. We'll see. It should be car 4 leading us to the green flag here in just one moment, and officially the control car. He is going to be on the inside of corner 20, so he should definitely be the car that restarts this race. That puts Harlow second. That puts Miranda in third. Lawson Peel restart from 4th. Joe Sanchez 5th. Curtis Kelly 6th. Austin Reedy 7th. Wyatt Brackett 10th. Or at least something in that order. It's hard to say. A whole lot of cars moving around right now, but we will get a good idea of how things are looking here in just a few moments. Turn 19, turn 20. The only thing left for these drivers as we get ready for one more restart and a whole lot more of green flag racing. 22 laps the distance now under green flag conditions. A few caution laps there to get us rolling. And the field rolls through turn number 20 pace car list as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Waiting on the green flag from Barney the flagman. Is it going to be here or down at the end of the front stretch? The end of the front stretch it looks like. So we are waiting. No, it is right there. Green flag is out. Already, Mario Miranda going to challenge up the inside, taking it 3 wide up the inside of Shoemaker. Here comes Sanchez as well, up to 4th position on the inside, and Mario Miranda nearly got a taste of the race lead once more. It's Harlow back out front.
Absolutely not wasting any time. Miranda knows that on the first stint, the number 5 was a bit quicker on the first few laps. He's had the fastest lap of the race battling, so Miranda really needs to get his work well, he really needs to work for it on this stage. As you can see, a few cars looks like cutting a bit of the S's, so maybe a bit of contact. We're seeing
Curtis
so
Kelly.
much more side by side, and I saw that. Oh,
Big crashing there. Muscarella's involved. Brandon Banks comes to a stop. And Curtis Kelly is stopped looking the wrong way in the S's. That was almost worthy of a full course, but we stay green flag racing, and here we go for the lead. Miranda up the inside of turn 11. 2 cars way out front of everybody else. Harlow way wide to get an exit here for turn 11 and get down this backstretch, but it's not enough of a run. Miranda's got a big race lead, and they are headed quickly to turn 12.
yes, they are. They're going to be, well, essentially Harlow is going to try to get the slipstream, trying to get a little bit of a speed advantage. Looks like he did. Will he look down the inside, going under braking? Not quite. So the number 99, Andrew, after quite an aggressive start, which is exactly what he needed, he finds himself in the perfect position. And the number 5, he was quicker through the first few laps of stage number 1. Is he quicker on the first few laps of this stage number 2? Looks like that this, well, so far it has gone the 99 way.
Right to the curb there for Miranda. Harlow, Sanchez, Peel there in 4th, Swavely in 5th. Chris Shoemaker's dropped down to the 6th position in car 4. He's now defending over Austin Reedy, your points leader. Justin Erb in 8th position, Wyatt Brackett in 9th, Steve Stempian in 10th. Wraps things up for your top 10, but Mario Miranda way out front. He's already got a full 1.5 race lead. He's done everything he's needed to do this first lap. Perfect restart there from car 99.
Exactly what he needed. Already building a little bit of the gap, Andrew. So if what we heard from Austin, you know, is the rule of thumb for everybody, he might struggle a little bit. He might feel the drop off after 5 laps, but if he can build that, you know, that gap after 5 laps, well, that's all he needs. Looks like the number 17 having a little bit of issue on the exit of the final corner. He's going to be rejoining. So Chris, unfortunately, not starting stage number 2 the best way.
Chris Progar issues there in the last corner, and Dylan Hastings now onto the pit lane in car number 8, so a problem there. He'll come in and get some service. This might be a short stop to try and go to the end, so definitely I think a short pit there for car number 8. He wants to go to the end from here, realized he was going to be a little bit short on fuel, or at least thought he'd be short on fuel, and wants to call it a little more safe than sorry. So this run gets back going now. Miranda well out front, Harlow in 2nd place, Sanchez 3rd, and he's got company.
Yeah, he's definitely got company. You can see the number 55 feeling a little bit of pressure from Peel right behind him. We kind of didn't see this battle on stage number 1. Looks like Peel just drives on by. Looks like Sanchez maybe made a few mistakes on the entry of 11, and that's going to be costing him the final podium position entry. So currently number 4 for the number 55. So not the great result that he was kind of expecting, especially after his win.
Reedy takes a spot there from car number 4. Chris Shoemaker headed the wrong direction. Wyatt Brackett goes on by as well. And Justin Erb working on Muscarella. This will go to turn number 10. And Muscarella no nose on that race car now after the contact a lap and a half ago through the S's. Of course, had that issue with Curtis Kelly, who went sideways. And now Michelle and Warren Keith doing some battle. Cars 25 and 42.
It's a fun little battle to start. Obviously, a lot of drivers taking advantage of how fresh the tires feel. They must feel like brand new. I mean, they are brand new, aren't they, Andrew? But they must feel so great on these cars. And obviously, a few drivers already taking a bit of an advantage. You can see number 25 is actually looking down the outside of 17 and 18. I wasn't expecting seeing a car going that aggressive. But look at this train. 3 cars really close together on the exit of 18. Oh. Nothing a lot of them can do. Looks like a bit of a wobble from the number 25.
Oh, and he gets into Warren Keith, a save. Oh, and he's going to crash him. Warren Keith said, nope, I'm tired of that, and turns Michelle around now and goes in straight lines the 32 car. Warren Kyle Keith, all kinds of trouble in turn 20, and his race completely turned up on its head. He's got a lot of cars to let by.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just waiting to essentially just light up those rear tires and essentially put himself back on contention to the race, but unfortunately not the way he wanted to start his stage. And obviously right now, Andrew, quite a bit of damage to his car.
And we didn't see everything leading up to this, but there may have been contact or at least a move maybe in turn 12. Warren Keith certainly looked like he was just tired of something, and we'll be able to see a little bit of the onboard here. This is from Warren Keith's point of view. Loose there for car 25, and then watch this in 19, 20. Yeah, I mean, he just came over and hit him, and then more contact there. Warren just says, nope, you're done. And then unfortunately goes straight through it. Oh, Kalis came over. I don't know what was going on with Kalis, but that's what happened with Warren Keith. Warren might have been okay to the apex, and then something happened with car 43. Let's get one more look at this.
For sure, it's a bit of contact that definitely unsettled the car. We saw the car going aggressively to the apex, but we're gonna confirm exactly what happened here. So yeah, Warren obviously injured, as you mentioned, not the greatest of start, and looks like a bit of maybe contact down here into the S section. No, really close battle, but no contact so far.
Well, some issues here with these drivers, Warren Keith and Daniel Michel. This was turn 11. And contact there. Really confused by all of this. I'm more surprised, of course, by the fact that Warren definitely turned left. I don't think there's any refuting that. There was already some contact. These guys making some moves on each other. This is into turn 12. This is about when we pick things up. Warren gets that spot. Michel around the outside. No contact there. We'll go back to the car 43 of Kalis and see exactly what happens from his perspective. I'm really interested by that as well, to see how it looked from Sean's point of view.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested to see exactly what happened, because, well, that's the question that's still, the one question that's still unanswered, isn't it, Andrew? So you can see coming up to 17 and 18, Sean has quite a good view. He's close, but, you know, it has a safe distance between these two. Now we're going to see a car going, well, essentially losing a little bit on the curbs. There we go. Then he rejoins, a little bit of contact just ahead of him. He goes a little bit wide, looks like. No, he stays on the racing line. They both touch. And then what happens here?
I think Kalis got hit.
Yeah, he got hit from behind, didn't he?
That, or he just
lost it on the braking.
Yeah, maybe too much rear brake bias, but we'll get back to live picture. Enough of the replay for now. Kalis is now in the pit lane, and he is getting service to his number 43, so I think he's one of those drivers banking on at least one pit stop in this run to the end, and should only be that one pit stop. There should be no need for 2 runs here in this last little run to the end, but regardless, he is in for service. Peel is now ahead of Ross Harlow. That's what happened in all of this mess that we saw behind. So this is a great battle that we're going to pick up for second place. Harlow now on his back foot. He has been overtaken by car 53, and he's got car 55 just behind. This is a great battle, second, third, and fourth.
So Peel doing a really good race so far. Got past Sanchez, now got past Harlow. He's in second place. Harlow trying to get the position back, but as you mentioned, trying to defend from Sanchez. So what we had on the final few laps of stage number 1, Andrew, is what we're seeing right here. For Harlow leading Sanchez, both of them still fighting for the same piece of tarmac. But right now, instead of fighting for second, they're fighting for the final step of the podium. Looks like we had even more problems on the exit of 13, and this time is Zerb on the number 24.
Just an herb around there out of turn 13. We've had issues there all day long. We'll go back up to that battle inside the top 5. Ross Harlow now on his heels. He's trying to make something happen here. He had a really good first run to that stage break, but now I think Lawson Peel certainly has been a lot less forgiving with him here to the end, and Joe Sanchez certainly will be a lot less forgiving with him here. If Joe gets an opportunity, I think Joe's going to take it, especially now as he watches car 53 of Lawson Peel drive away. And Sanchez and Peel were doing battle earlier on. Sanchez actually took that spot and drove away, so now to see a car that he was ahead of, now ahead of him, he's not going to like that.
Yeah, absolutely not gonna like that. But Andrew, I just have to give praise to number 53. He essentially got past those two, no problem, looks like it, and he's driving away. So really good pace from him so far. I wonder, could he try to catch up that pace to the number 99? The gap is 4.5 seconds, and with around 17 laps to go, it's definitely possible to catch up. But will he? The pace so far has been excellent. So the question, I guess, is just gonna remain
still a half second off per lap.
Oh, so yeah, that answered the question then, but yeah, it's just a really good pace for second place. Seems the best of the rest, and it looks like Sanchez, a big lock-up. That's gonna cost him maybe quite a bit towards the end of the race.
I don't think so. Well, maybe towards the end. I get what you're saying there, but that really messed with the rhythm there of Ross Harlow. For a second, I thought he was gonna hang side by side with him, and I thought he was gonna get that spot. I think, honestly, as long as he doesn't do that again, That got Ross just out of rhythm enough to maybe have a better chance at battling with him. Now as he falls back, you might be a little more on point there, maybe. We'll see how that evolves, but I do want to drop further back in this top 10. Wyatt Brackett very close here to Richard Swavely. Swavely, I think, has just taken this position away, and you can see the battle scars there to car number 10. And more stories throughout this top 10 developing. Justin Erb is still in this top 10. Stempian is now into this top 10. He's in 7th. Alex Muscarella is now in the 8th spot. Shoemaker, Chris Shoemaker has dropped into 9th. Justin Erb in 10th, and Brandon Banks is just behind there. This is a battle now for the top 10. Brandon Banks in car 54 could have a really good shot.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just trying to make his way past Mach just ahead of him. Hendry just ahead of him. So really close on corner 16, trying to get a good enough exit. Looks like not close enough. But, you know, this is a good part. And look at this battle, Andrew. 4 cars battling for the same position. This looks fun.
And it's got Austin Reedy, our points leader. He ran the entire first stage in the top 10. He pitted, though, just 2 laps ago, so he was not good to the end on fuel. And, oh, my goodness, Dakota Curtis nearly took him out there. Thankfully, the 96 car gets away from that. But Austin Reedy taking that pit stop in the midst of this last run to the end. He knew he needed some fuel, knew he needed some tires, came in, at least got the fuel, is back out there and is in position number 18. Now Dakota Curtis drops down behind Travis Stevens. And, oh boy, he's got his work cut out for him. These guys are all over the place, and battle scars certainly starting to pile up. Car 2 now around the outside, car 1 on the inside. Curtis takes that spot away, leaves Stevens in the dust, and Curtis keeps in the top 20 then. Look at this behind him. Garrett Brown and others having fun. Oh, boy, that scared me.
Yeah, we saw what happened in the, previously when a car touched the grass, but yeah, this is some really good battle. We almost saw 3 wide action, and the number 3, Andrew, has even more damage than what Muscarella has down in, well, up in 8th place. So, wow, yeah, big damage, but still keep on racing. So it's really good to see. As you can see, this other battle, the number 17 trying to get past the number, looks like 68 right in front of him. So Chris Proger trying to get past Kendall right ahead. Looks like a bit of compromise line through this section of the SS, so not close enough, maybe down into turn 11. This looks fun to watch as well.
Now, in all of this, Progar and Mach are teammates. Those are cars 17 we're on board with, and car 7 up ahead that's getting passed by Ryan Kendall. Great move there out of Ryan. Down to the inside of turn 11, takes that spot away beautifully. But maybe not. Really good exit there for Isaac Mach. He gets down this backstretch nicely, gets back in front of car 68. This is not over.
Definitely not over. Down into the braking zone of turn 12, we might see even more action. You can see already going defensive, the car ahead. Look at behind him. Looks like we might see a 3 wide action. No, so a bit cautious by the number 7. Could be smart, Andrew. It's still 17, 16 laps of racing, you know, not taking too much damage. So holding a position this early on, trying to get back later on through the lap or even the rest of the race could be a smart choice.
We'll have 15 laps to go here shortly. In fact, these guys are on 16 laps to go now. And, oh, a problem for David Michel. He is slow. He is wide in turn 12. Gets back on. Look at this. A big gaggle of cars between 12 and 13. They sort things out. Back single file. You can see Warren Keith and all this as well. He's in 25th position now, just behind car 25, in fact. And these are the 2 that, of course, had that moment a few moments ago. So maybe a good place to come back to.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fun to watch. You can see already drivers making move down into 17 and 18. So going down the inside, quite confident, the number 25. So yeah, still a lot to be decided up here. You can see even further back, Andrew, we saw him almost trying to go for a move down into 19. We might see a move down into turn 20. Maybe looking down the inside. Yes, on the well, really late on the braking zone, really, but gets the position done really cleanly. A bit squirrely on the exit, and it's going to be a drag race up turn 1.
Parker Bland is slow. That was in turn 1, just ahead of these guys that we were watching. David Michel, is he going to do anything in turn 1? Down to the inside of Garrett Brown, car 16. And he's going to have it at apex. Tries to use that curbing to his advantage. Curtis and Keith have a moment. Keith going to take that spot. Keith will take 24th. Brown is 23rd, and Michel here is 22nd. And I noticed somebody else having issues ahead. Richard Swavely is down out of the 9th spot. If you recall, JP, he was just in a battle with Wyatt Brackett. Now he's in a battle with Chris Shoemaker. Gets the 8th spot back away. But problems for car 32.
Yeah, well, he's struggling a little bit. Shoemaker is definitely not wasting any time trying to get that position, trying to move up tried to move back into 8th place. You can see a little bit of damage to his car, Andrew, as well. So already, again, as you mentioned, battles cars, but this is going to be the trend. The number 32 runs a little bit wide on the exit of 12, but no harm, no foul. Looks like he keeps his position for the time being. And, well, he's up net 3 positions, Andrew. He started in 11th and currently finds himself in 8th place. So a good uphill race for number 32 so far.
But downhill recently, you see that high of 5th. He was just in 5th about a lap and a half ago, battling with Wyatt Brackett. So it's net 3 from the beginning, but it's net -3 from about a lap and a half ago. That's the problem for Richard Swavely right now. He was starting to put a nice race together, and it's starting to, well, drop a little bit. It's not over by any means. He's still in the top 10, still in the 8th spot. Still, again, as you said, a net of 3 positions from the start, but certainly disappointing from what he could have had a few moments ago as he dropped behind Brackett, Stempy, and Muscarello. But that moves Stempy now into 6th spot, so car 81 on the way forward. And this battle now develops behind these guys. You can see Shoemaker with some trouble here from Herb. This is a good battle.
So Shoemaker was just attacking. Now he has to defend a little bit, and Herb goes down the inside of turn 1. Shoemaker might even lose 2 spots. Yes, he does, going a little bit cautious. Banks, you guys got past him for 10th place.
Oh!
But they're going to battle on the exit. Banks looks like got way too eager on the power, and
that was
that's
Herb.
going to cost him. Oh, that was Herb. So, Herb got way too lucky on the power, way too, I guess, just confident on the power, and ended up losing 2 positions. So, good eye there, Andrew.
They sort things out now. Ryan Kendall, Austin Reedy, they do battle. Reedy takes it in 14th, Kendall in 15th. And Parker Bland and Curtis Kelly just swapped spots. Kelly taking the 17th spot away from car 01. Battles everywhere on this racetrack. This is really good stuff. I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to get with a brand new league coming to a place like Circuit of the Americas. Of course, very, very tough to race on, especially in stock cars. It's tough even for Formula One cars to have, you know, properly good side-by-side racing sometimes just because of how technical this place is, but this has been fantastic. This really has blown me away as somebody who's doubted Circuit of the Americas sometimes with stock cars. I will admit, today's race is fantastic, last year's race is fantastic, and now this race here with the MPI Cup Series has been really impressive. Great battles through and through.
Absolutely, I'm loving this, Andrew. The new cars, as you can see, are locking up a lot. The front left tire goes really tight and quite slowly to avoid contact with Shoemaker, and well, he's gonna stick in 11th place for now. But yeah, this race has been fantastic. I'm loving the new Cup cars, Andrew, and yeah, I mean, only positives to take away from this race, I think.
So that's what the top 10 sorts out for now. Shoemaker takes that spot away, or keeps that spot rather, from Justin Herb. A little further back, Kip Easley now working on car 01 of Parker Bland. And it's hard to imagine the fact that we've gone 33 laps of this race, and we've seen all the action that we've seen, JP, and we're still seeing cars under green flag conditions for the first time all day. We haven't seen much of Kip Easley. This is the first time I think we've seen him under green flag as he works on Parker Bland. This is for position 18 if Kip can get it. That's what Parker hangs on to for now. And it's just ahead of Austin Shoemaker, who we talked to at the break. First, we talked to our stage winner, Mario Miranda. Then we spoke with Austin Shoemaker. And, of course, he pitted there right at the end of that caution. We got the extension of the caution flag, came in, took tires and took fuel, and decided to go to the rear and run this one out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just going to have to wait and see if his strategy is going to work out. But Andrew, obviously, you know, he mentioned the fuel was going to be a factor. It was definitely going to be a factor. So I wonder, when will we see people coming into the pits? I think it might be on the last 5 laps because, well, we ran 20 laps under green flag, and we didn't really see anyone coming in just by fuel. As you can see, the number 14 and the number 27 battling down into turn 1, and the number 14, well, comes away with that position. But I wonder, when will fuel come into effect?
That is a fantastic question that only time will be able to answer as we go on here. Shoemaker there works on by. Stevens now in a battle with Daniel Mitchell, and of course, well, here we go. Warren Kyle Keith just behind again. Of course, these two cars had to come together a little while ago. I still feel there was some contact that was intended, but it seems they've sorted it out to where, you know, obviously Warren Keith is not ahead of Daniel Mitchell, and I don't think Warren got anything out of that by any means. So, hey, we keep racing, we stay green flag, and this is the result of it. So, Daniel up the inside there of car number 2 of Travis Stevens, looking for a spot.
And down the inside, he's going to have a compromised exit. Look at this exit, though. He's just gonna get a way better exit. May pass 2 cars, has to take avoiding action. That was really close. Looks like he has to take the foot off the gas a little bit and ended up losing that position, but that could have been big.
Yeah, he lost the shot there at Michelle, but he kept the spot, or got the spot rather, over Stevens. Is now Kip Easley, very slow at the bottom of turn 12, but look at that. Michelle went very wide. He gets back on just to the inside of Warren Keith. They're side by side in turn 13. Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Could we see a little bit of contact? Looks like Michelle might just have this position for the time being. Yes, he does. We are not seeing I'm not seeing too many overtakes.
I
not
think
as
they've
many
moved
as I
past
thought.
things from earlier, but I don't know. This has been such a weird race for Warren. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little bit desperate here for his positions.
Oh, absolutely. It could definitely happen. And we're approaching the end of the race, Andrew, so opportunities might be running out. Obviously, tires, I mean, we've spoken to a few people, and they said, the tires, they get quite consistent, but we never know. They might hit, the drop-off point, and you might just lose that opportunity to pass the driver ahead. So at this point, it might just be take whatever opportunity comes in. Well, this might be it.
Warren Keith up the inside now of Daniel Michelle. Gets that spot for now. Michelle very wide there in turn 20. Gave that spot away. This is for 21st. Easily still hanging on to 20th. Side by side. Keith on the inside. Almost contact. Michelle on the outside. Lights up the rear tires. Almost gets Warren Keith. And they'll now go to turn number 2. Michelle going to hang on to that spot over Travis Stevens, but loses the spot to Warren Keith. That was big for Warren to finally make that pass.
And that was very close on exit to contact, and I suspect Andrew might see more of that. It looks like, look at this. Shoemaker making a little bit of a mistake down into 11. He might just be losing that position to Herb. They're going to drag race on the back straight away, and this battle is definitely not going away anytime soon. Herb goes back past Shoemaker. That's up to 10th place for the number 24 driver, and he might just have it this time.
Finally, Justin Herb breaks into the top 10 after his issue earlier on. Brandon Banks came on through and passed him and knocked him out of the top 10. And Warren Keith starting to do battle again with Daniel Michelle. Here we go, turn 11. Michelle took the spot. Warren Keith drops back, and you can see Kip Easley even lost that spot. So Easley now out of the top 20. Michelle takes that last top 20 position. They'll work down the back stretch. Michelle in 20th. Keith on the inside of Easley for 21st. Heavy braking zone into 12. Warren Keith goes down to the apex, takes the 21st spot away, but nothing there for Daniel Michelle just yet. And you can see battling just up the road. Parker Bland loses the spot to Austin Shoemaker. This is for 18th position. Shoemaker continuing his run back through the field. And I think if he can get to out of top 10, it's a net. It's definitely a net win for him. Earlier on, he was just outside the top 10 when he and Chris decided to pit early. So if he can get to about 15th or positive, I think it's okay.
Absolutely. It might just be because he's definitely trying not to come back to the pit lane, right? So we're just going to have to wait and see what the deficit is, between coming down to the pit lane and getting that fuel. And should we expect maybe a few drivers to essentially maybe even gamble a little bit on tires? Obviously, it's all going to depend on how many laps we're going to have towards the end of the race. But, well, it looks like we might have the first answer right here as Hendry comes down in the pit lane. Just fuel, 8.2 seconds. But the total time, Andrew, is what I'm interested in. And it looks like it's going to be close to 30 seconds. For him, it's going to be 29.98, so extremely close to 30 seconds. So we have our first benchmark.
So Hendry comes in for that service. And he was on that same kind of strategy as everybody else, really, for the most part, with the stage break. So with 12 laps to go, car 11 comes in, kind of sets the stage. When do our leaders come in then? Do they come in at all? Has Mario Miranda saved fuel? Do we see a fuel mileage race here at COTA? Wouldn't that be a whole lot of fun this evening if Circuit of the Americas gives us a proper NASCAR fuel mileage race on a road course? Boy, I would be excited about that. Ryan Kendall a bit slow here. Let's see, that looks like turn 9. And yes, it was.
Yeah, so a bit slow through there. Maybe a small mistake. Maybe even hitting the yellow curb. I'm not pretty sure what you called it, Andrew, but me and Emerson called that the Verstopper, as they have even more action down here into 11. These three looks like they're inseparable at this time, at this stage of the race. Obviously coming into the final 10 laps, well, they definitely might be. And this battle is definitely not one to shine away from, as these two essentially drag racing. And I suspect, Andrew, we might see a dive bomb down into 11.
Ooh, Parker Bland very aggressive to 12. Warren Keith, an open door, maybe. Michelle gets that spot back from Bland. Now Warren Keith round the outside to the inside of turn 13. Gets that spot. Ryan Kendall fills the gap on the inside of 13. Everybody saw the door open with Parker Bland making a mistake and tried to fill it. Michelle and Keith were able to take advantage of it, and now Kendall trying to see if there's a way around car 01.
He's definitely trying to check this out. If there's an opening, at least a gap, trying to force him into a mistake. Looks like that's not going to happen, at least for the time being. But, wow, I said I was suspecting a dive bomb. Definitely not from the car I was watching. It looks like we might see a move down into 19. Not quite close enough, but definitely lining it up. Really using a lot of that track on exit, Andrew. And another point I don't think we've touched too much is instant points. I see a few of these drivers getting a little bit, well, we just saw that, what could happen if you get into the AstroTurf. Quite an aggressive block right here, but not going to change the effect of the overtake. But we're seeing a lot of drivers using a little bit too much of the exit, the AstroTurf on the exit. So I wonder if we could see a little bit of penalties coming into the later stage of the race.
I don't believe we have incident limits. The big concern for these guys is more so hitting that AstroTurf, hitting the grass, hitting the anti-cuts, and upsetting the handle of the car. That is where the issue is going to come in for these guys, or even doing damage over the anti-cuts. That's where you really have to be careful, especially in these next-gen cars. You can definitely damage the undercarriage, and if you do damage the undercarriage, or even that rear diffuser potentially, that's a lot of rear downforce gone. So you want to stay away from them. It's much like, Toto Wolff telling Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes drivers as they off of curbing a few years ago at Bahrain. It's the same kind of deal. You want to stay away from the curbs right now, especially at this point. It's not going to gain you a whole lot to be all over the curbing. Keep the car on the black stuff. Keep the car going forward on the racetrack between the painted white lines, and you're going to do okay. Here's a look at Austin Shoemaker now in the top 15. He's just behind Chris Progar. Progar has had a very quiet day, now into 14th spot, but might lose this one.
Yeah, might just lose it. Well, it might just happen down here, turn 12. They're going to go side by side through it. And, yeah, that's essentially position done and dusted. Number 17 goes really losing a lot of traction on exit, Andrew. And that's something we saw quite a lot in stage number 1, but not something we're seeing too much. We're not seeing too many spins, at least out of 13, as we saw on stage number 1.
As this run runs on, Daniel Michel has caught Isaac Mock, and Mock started P37. 37th starting spot. Is up into was into the top 15. You can see he was as high as 13th spot a little while ago, has since dropped down a little bit, but to be up 20 positions even now in the last 10 laps of this race, that is huge for Isaac Mock. Just a nice quiet day, putting laps together, putting a race together. Lost a couple spots there for Michel and Warren Kyle Keith, but now he's got a front row seat to a really, really feisty show.
Yeah, this is going to be good to watch from his eyes. Obviously, he could benefit quite a lot, Andrew. How many times have we seen, two drivers battling and essentially, pushing each other too much to the point where contact might happen? Could we see a move down into turn 1? Not quite close enough for these guys. So Isaac right behind them, he could be waiting for a little bit of contact between those two, at least to make his life a lot easier. But yeah, looks like it didn't happen down in turn 1, and definitely won't happen through the S's.
There's a look at there, one of the anti-cuts through the S's as Keith follows Michel through the S's. One of the anti-cuts there that you do not want to hit.
Oh, absolutely not. You can get a lot of damage, as you mentioned. So a lot of drivers avoiding to the top. We've seen a few drivers tackling it, but definitely something to avoid.
Here's a battle inside the top 10. In fact, inside the top 5. Stempian and Brackett. We've not been inside this top 10 in a while, but Brackett has recently lost this position to car 81. Stempian now really on a charge into this top 5. A very, very quiet day, but a very, very powerful day. It's these quiet but powerful days that I like out of drivers. From 12th up into the top 5 now. He's been as low as 14th position. Just a quiet way moving forward. Just quietly taking those spots away. Just putting a race together. This is really, really cool to see for Steven Stempian. And when you look at the points as well, this is going to be a run that he looks back on as shaping his season.
Absolutely. It's just really good seeing those drivers having excellent races like he is. And I mean, it could shape up, as you mentioned, could shape up a season. Hopefully he's going to be wanting to essentially use this result to propel him forward into the remainder of the championship. Obviously, he still needs to hold it, Andrew, and mistakes like this down into turn 1 definitely won't help him. So he's still battling for 5th place. He might just lose it, as looks like Brackett is looking down. He's outside of 2 and, well, makes that move. That was quite beautiful, actually.
Side by side there through 2. Brackett takes the spot away, took advantage of the opportunity that was handed to him. Gets on by Stempian. So now Stempian back into 6th. Wants to get back into the top 5, certainly, though. He comes into this race in 6th in the points as well, just behind Joe Sanchez, who won last week. And of course, Sanchez, Keith, and Reedy, they've got tickets already to the playoffs. But if you're Stempian, you want to get as many points as you can early. You know things are going to go wrong at some point in this season. You want to be ready for that kind of thing. So you want to get yourself as far into this playoffs and into this top 16 as you possibly can, just in case we stack up on race winners and in case he potentially has issues over the course of the summer. On board with him now, and you can see he's starting to lose a lot of time. That's tracking to Sanchez initially. That's who he was behind at the start-finish line, but losing all that time to Wyatt Brackett. And I think Wyatt might just continue on his way in this run. Let's go further back in the top 10 then. Herb and Shoemaker still close. Herb still in the top 10. Shoemaker wide there at 11. Will give up a lot of time, potentially be in the hands of Austin Reedy here soon. And what do you know? Chris Progrard, Daniel Michel, and Warren Keith. They're all very close once again.
Oh, almost going 3 wide on the approach to turn 11. Almost a little bit of contact on the exit of 10. This is...
Oh, contact!
This is very close. Oh, contact under braking, and all of them kind of missed the apex. This is getting feisty, Andrew.
Yeah, Daniel Michel has been very aggressive this entire last 10 laps or so. Warren Keith along with him. These guys are racing it out. This is... Oh, and Justin Herb, a problem ahead. He is slow. He is stopped. He gets back rolling. Let's cover this then. Warren Keith into turn 12 has that spot over Daniel Michel. And it looks like he will hang on to that spot as well. They sort that out. What just happened to Justin Herb inside the top 10?
And I wonder, Andrew, if it's something we have seen plenty before and is just too eager on the power on 13.
We've seen that from him before.
Yes, he lost, 9th position from that, if I'm not mistaken. He dropped quite a few positions from that before, so if it is the same mistake, it's definitely going to hurt him. You can see he has quite a bit of a gap to Shoemaker right behind him, so coming down into 12, gets it all slowed down, hits the apex quite nicely, doesn't extend too much outside, then on braking, down into turn 13, goes a little bit wide, and yep, just pins by himself.
Just goes around all on his lonesome there. Austin Reedy goes on by on the outside after Shoemaker went by. So now Austin Reedy, after his issues, whatever happened to him at the beginning of stage 2 here, he is 1 position outside this top 10 and only a 2.5 seconds back of it. He might... I wonder if he actually had a fuel stop or if he had an issue, another issue. I think he might have had something separate. His pit lane time is listed as 2.1 seconds, and that's obviously not accurate. No way you get down the pit lane in 2 seconds, but I wonder what exactly the scenario was here for Austin Reedy that brought him down the pit lane and took him so far out of contention. Regardless, he's now in 11th spot, 1 position outside the top 10. Now, he's not racing for stage points anymore, but a top 10 is always nice to have.
Absolutely. He's definitely going to be fighting tooth and nail for that, and well, that might just make his job a little bit easier. But Andrew, can I just point your eyes to 2nd place? Hill is bringing that gap down slowly but surely. The gap's down to 2.5 seconds. It was at 4.5, obviously, at the beginning of the stage, but he's slowly putting that gap down. So Miranda is either, as you mentioned, he's either trying to get that mileage to the end as we have a bit of a battle down into turn 1 between 3 cars, and that's going to slow down. Look at the gap, 1.5 now.
But now Peel has to deal with the same bit of cars and in a worse section of racetrack, in fact. Very wide there out of 2. He's got to deal with these cars. That's Hastings there in the 8. He's got to get by them in the S's. I think that, yeah, this is much worse for Lawson Peel. Really backing him up now. Austin Reedy just moved into the top 10, but Lawson Peel lost a second or more there in the S's alone, trying to get by these lap cars. Big issues, and he's coming up to another lap car. That might, yeah, that's Dakota Curtis there in car number 1 that he's going on by now in turn 9. Gets on by him finally, but look at that, 3 seconds back now. What could have been might no longer be.
Yeah, exactly. He lost a total of 0.6 of a second overall because before that battle he was 2.4. So unfortunately for him, and yet another mistake, a little bit of a lockup. So unfortunately for him, might just cost him, as it looks like Shoemaker is the first one to come down in the pit lane, which obviously makes sense. He was the first one to come down on stage number 1, so he's going to be filling up quite a bit of fuel, Andrew. And I don't think he's going to have that damage repaired, because with 6 laps to go, it's definitely not worth it.
No, it's a splash and go here for Shoemaker. He won't even take tires either. Just get some fuel in that car, get back out there, and see what he can salvage. He drops out of the top 10 and will drop into, it looks like, the 15th position, maybe 16th position, depending on other cars. Let's see, Progar will come on by. He gets into turn 1, so he will drop into 16th spot, just behind Chris Progar and ahead of Daniel Michel. And hopefully he can keep things together and keep that spot. Now, further around in the field, let's see. So Justin Erb is working on Curtis Kelly now. This is for 11th.
So Erb has the pace, but unfortunately those mistakes just have been putting him a bit down, you know, on pace and on positions as well. So trying to make those moves back, trying to fight for 11th place. This move could happen down into turn 11, looking down the inside. Is it close enough? Not quite, you know, just going a little bit tighter on the apex, trying to get a good enough run to maybe line up a move down into turn 12. And Andrew looks like he might just be close enough, and the slipstream might just approach him, well, just enough by the end of the straightaway.
Erb still chasing Curtis Kelly down this long backstretch. Let's go forward. Steven Stempian was just very close to Wyatt Brackett, now falls back. Stempian starting to head in the wrong direction. It's like the tires come back to life on occasion and then start to fall back away. Nearly had a top 5 going for him, now starting to drop back out of it. You think he can rally back? They're coming to 6 laps to go this time for them. It'll be 5 laps to go next time they come by.
Yeah, the time is running out. It's going to be interesting to see what can happen. Obviously, the number 81 is trying to close that gap down, and Andrew, it could happen down into the pit lane. We talked about it, you know, how perfect you need to be, and especially with a splash and dash, we saw timers going, well, 6 seconds. If you lose just 1 second, that might just be game over for you, or, well, if you're ahead, that just might be yielding that position, so still quite a lot to be decided.
Well, these guys may not need to pit. Fuel saving is a big thing in NASCAR. Fuel saving is a big thing in stock cars in general, so definitely would not be surprised if these guys have used the clutch a little bit, maybe short shifted a bit, tried to save that extra bit of fuel as Justin Erb is around out of turn 20. Oh, the problems keep compounding for him. Another big mistake, and he drops down now well outside the top 10. He's down at a 13th position, just ahead of Warren Kyle Keith. But for Stempian here, trying to battle with Brackett, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys up front have saved fuel. They've gone a ways now to not, you know, go to the end, to not have saved fuel throughout this run. And I think that might be what Miranda's up to, is maybe he ran a much faster first few laps and is now trying to backtrack, save a bit of gas, and make sure he goes to the end potentially, as there is our leader with Whiplash Media on the side of that race car. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, there's only so much we can speculate about, but I really feel that these leaders have made their bed. They're going to lie in it. They're trying to go to the end.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be, right? Losing 30 seconds on the pit lane is definitely not what you want, but looks like, Andrew, I'm also spotting a little bit of damage to the front end of the number 99. Could hurt him a little bit on the aero side and maybe a little bit on top speed, but yeah, you know, if it's worth losing a few seconds each lap or over the course of the stint, it definitely might just be better than taking 30 seconds down in the pit lane and losing all that time. So yeah, it's definitely going to be close for them, but with 4 laps to go, well, we're just going to have to wait and see.
And even if you lose the equivalent amount of time as it would be to pit, if you stay in front of somebody, you can hold them up, right? You can make it difficult to pass them. So just because you have to give up some time doesn't mean you have to give up that position. If you stay on the racetrack, you can hold that driver up and certainly make it difficult for them to pass. I know that's an F1 thing. Heard about it today at Jeddah, so we could see the same kind of thing here with Miranda just trying to back himself up to Lawson Poole. And I mean, he really keeps using this gap. He's now down to just a second and a half ahead of Lawson in that 53 car. And closing. I really think he's saving fuel right now.
Yeah, so just trying to avoid at all costs, Andrew. Looks like coming down the pit lane, and that gap is still coming down. So I wonder if Peel has saved a little bit more fuel and it's allowing himself to push a little bit more. Obviously, if he gets that calculation a bit wrong, it's going to be costly.
On board here with Mario Miranda. That's at a turn 12. Down to a second and change. Lawson Peel closing. If he gets there, JP, does he make a move? Does Lawson have enough fuel? That's the concern now as well. Does car 53 have enough fuel to go to the end? I would imagine so. If he's starting to close, I mean, these guys clearly, they've got speed. They seem to be too good on road courses to not know the fuel game. And I'm sure too good in this series as a whole to not know the fuel game and know exactly what they need. As Lawson gets very loose there, almost through what's the carousel. 17 and 18, gets it back underneath him, but lost a couple of tenths.
But that's the thing you mentioned, right, Andrew? Even if you don't have a lot of fuel, if you just allow yourself to use a little bit more to overtake the guy ahead, you can essentially save throughout the S's. There's no way past on there. So if Peel is using a little bit more fuel to try and catch up to Miranda, and if he passes as the first opportunity comes, he'll still have opportunities on the racetrack to, you know, lift off that gas pedal, pull in the clutch, and save that precious fuel. So the strategy is still going to be on play, and, well, the gap coming down to less than a second and the back markers coming up, this could be the opportunity the number 53 was waiting for.
Back on board with Lawson Peel now through the S's, getting very close to those curves on the inside, those anti-cuts. And Miranda's definitely going to have some lap cars to sift through here on this lap. He's got Schoonover in the 9. Another one up ahead. It looks like, the 43 of K-List, and even a car ahead of that. This is well up through the field, actually. Schoonover is in 29th. He's already one lap down. K-List, I think, is who that is. Is it? It is K-List in the 43. He is now 33rd, 4 laps down, and you even see Garrett Brown in the 16. So he gets on by the 9, okay. He gets on by the 43. Look at that close, though, for Lawson Poole in turn 11. Draws right up to the back end of Mario Miranda. We have got a race, ladies and gentlemen. With 4.5 laps to go, we're racing, certainly, for the race win at COTA.
Exactly what he needed. Peel just took advantage. Miranda was going very cautious, and, well, Peel just, said, well, you're going cautious. I'm not. The door is open. I'm going to go for it.
Oh, look at him close. Look at the brake rotors.
Oh, my. That was really...
Oh, he hits it. That was a try for the lead, and he turns the leader around. Mario Miranda spun around in turn 12, rather. Does Lawson Poole take that, or does he give it back? Lawson's still out front.
No, yeah, that's race pace.
And now Mario's held up again behind Schoonover and K-List. Oh, and he's going to go way to the inside. He is not happy at all, and certainly you can't blame him. I wouldn't be either. K-List goes way off the racetrack to get out of the way. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that was an over-optimistic move from the number 53. He was not there at all, I don't think so.
No.
Wow, Miranda, after leading, well, the whole race, unfortunately, is going to be losing the lead due to, well, essentially being spun around. So it has to hurt Andrew, but with a few laps to go, I wonder if he has any response. The gap is up to 2.5, 2.6. I don't think it is. It's maybe too late.
Do you recall what I said earlier in the day about keeping people happy in case you get in a situation? If Mario Miranda gets back to the rear end of Lawson Peel, I don't think it's going to be a happy exchange. I don't think it's going to be an orderly exchange. I don't think it's at all going to be the kind of thing that earns you a Christmas card, and I certainly don't think Lawson Peel is on Mario Miranda's Christmas card list at the point in time. It is now 3 seconds, and Lawson continues to run up the road. Boy, controversy here in our first race with the MPI Cup Series. That was aggressive. What do you say we get a replay of it?
Oh, I would definitely take one, because at one point in time, I'm pretty sure people are going to be rewinding, and at one point I said he was going to make the corner. Well, that was definitely optimistic. He definitely did. You can see the number 53 got a good run, got a decent run. He's keeping up pace, but it comes a really Daniel Ricciardo dive bomb here, but doesn't slow it down. You can see just not there at all until he hits the apex, and just kind of corrects the car. Looks like the car got lost under him, and well, unfortunately for him, there was a number 99 on his way that unfortunately spun around.
Let's watch this now from Miranda's point of view, potentially. And he's just going to close in really, really quickly into the braking zone for 11. This is high-intensity drama at the back end of this race. The burnt rubber media, number 99, backwards in turn 12, and this is how it happens. You see 53 up the inside, and just contact there. Yeah. If this is how the race order goes, if Miranda is not able to get that spot back, that is a really, really unfortunate way for this race to go down for somebody who led the entirety of this show just about. I mean, he only missed laps led under the caution period and getting back to the race lead. Like, He led the entire show up to that point. That's wow.
Yeah, that's wow indeed. It's heartbreaking for the number 99. I mean, you just have to feel for it, doesn't it? Don't we? I mean, it just sucks losing the race under those conditions with, what, 3-4 laps to go, but he needs to keep his head down. There's still racing to go, and plenty could happen to the number 53.
By a couple of tenths.
Yeah, so on the final few laps, he's definitely close. You can see the gap coming down to 2.3, 2.4, so there's still an opportunity, and I wonder if there's any back markers. Visually, it doesn't look like it. Any back marker close to him or Peel.
And I would have to imagine that will be looked at post-race, and that may be addressed. Now, we're brand new to the series. We don't know the tendencies of race admins here, JP, but that's certainly one that's going to be talked about. And even if it's left to the drivers to decide how to handle that one, drivers tend not to agree with contact for race wins very often. Or at least they don't agree with each other about it. They obviously all have their own opinions, and we'll see how that one goes. At the end of the day, it's good hard racing to us, but that's definitely a really, really unfortunate way for that to go for Miranda. Obviously, Lawson Peel put the drive of his life together there at the end, drove up to Mario Miranda, certainly had, I think, the car to do it here at the end, but it's going to be tough to look at this race win if he locks it up without looking at that moment at turn 12. You can't overlook that.
No, absolutely not. And unfortunately for him, it's going to plague him, I mean, for a long, long time, I think. You know, getting the win under those circumstances, not the ideal scenario. And, I mean, there's a couple of things, obviously, he could have done, but, well, it might be too late now, Andrew.
Well, yeah, he could have given it back to him in turn 13, right?
He tried to take it back.
Yeah, we've seen that before, but obviously Lawson wants the race win, and I can't blame him. He's a race car driver. He is out here in order to win races. He's not out here to make friends. He is out here to win this race, and he's on his way to doing exactly that. So it's really tough to disagree with it, but it would have been nice to see a battle there to the race end. Regardless, Lawson Peel, fantastic drive the second stage, no matter what. I think you could throw that contact out and just look at it as a great drive. It's a matter of the semantics around the battle that we could talk about for days on end. We are coming around to the white flag, though, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams, and boy, car 53, he's got some traffic ahead. Travis Stevens, Devin Hendry. Is it Devin Hendry, car 11? Justin Hendry. White flag is out.
And well, this is how he closed up to Miranda a few laps ago. This could be how Miranda closes back to him. You can see if those lap cars battling a little bit. It looks like both of them, though, get out of his way. That gap's not going to change too much. So, yeah, well, maybe unlucky for Miranda, lucky for Peel that, you know, that nothing changed. But yeah, with one final lap, Andrew, 2.1 seconds, it might just be too far for the number 99. It might just be the gap that number 53 needs to get the win, essentially, at Coda. And, well, it was a race, wasn't it?
It's certainly been a wild race to kick things off here with the MPI Cup Series. A really good way to open things up. A whole lot of drama, a whole lot of suspense, a whole lot of action. There are no other battles inside this top 10, interestingly enough. The top 10 is spread well and truly out. The next battle on the racetrack, you've got to go back to position 15 and 16. Progar and Shoemaker, they're not even on the last lap just yet. They are in the stadium section. Progar here in 15th, trying to hang on to that spot. He's just gotten by Chris Shoemaker rather recently. Now, Isaac Mock that we talked about earlier on, he's down at a 19th spot. It's still a really big gain for him as far as the day as a whole, and he's got 2.5 seconds to Parker Bland, but he could end up losing a top 20 regardless. To start 37th, clearly not have a whole lot of confidence, and clearly have to build that throughout the race. This has been a really good confidence-building day then for Isaac Mock, a really good day in general. Look at that. From 37th as high as 13th. That is one to hang your hat on. That is one for Isaac Mock to be all kinds of happy with. Now, it is the final lap for our race leaders, and into the stadium section here for the final time. The SpaceX 53, like a rocket ship, has soared in this last stint, this second stage, and barring any big issues here in the final couple of corners, JP, he will come around to a race victory, a commanding one in the last stage. I know we talked so much about Mario Miranda and how good car 99 was, but always there in the shadows since we retook the green flag was car 53, and Lawson Peel, with a very, very fast second stage and a bit of drama to do it, will take the win in race number 6 at Coda.
He's going to win Miranda after dominating the first and the first half of the second stint is going to finish in second place. Looks like Harlow with a decent gap is going to hold off Sanchez, going to finish in third place. Brackett is going to finish in the top 5. And Andrew, what a race we had. That was definitely a lot of fun. It looks like we have even a few battles to be decided. Almost contact between these two cars finishing up. But yeah, the number 53 wins the race, 2 seconds ahead of Miranda.
And again, it's a really, really good day to be Lawson Peel, I think. Certainly. I mean, again, he ran a great drive. He ran a great race at the end, and I don't want the contact, the controversy, the drama to overshadow that, because he really was really good in this back end of the race. But it's really difficult not to be disappointed in what happened.
No, absolutely not. I'm pretty sure Miranda will be disappointed, if not a little bit angry as well, Andrew. We know emotions do come. You know, we're humans. We're going to feel emotions. So I feel for him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happened. As we have a car going really wide on the final corner, he's going to be spinning around, actually. So yeah, an interesting shot to cap off the race. But yeah, it certainly was fun, wasn't it?
Really good day of racing here at Circuit of the Americas. Lawson Peel with the win. Mario Miranda second. Ross Harlow. Let's talk about Ross Harlow. Third place. Really good run there as well. Could have had a chance of the race win as one car's around here in the final corner. That is Justin Erb losing a lot of time. Loses spots to Chris Progar and more. Shoemaker got 14th back. Erb there in 16th, and that's how things finish up for them. Boy, a lot of drama there right there at the end. And in just a few more moments, we'll be able to talk to our race winner. It looks like no more positions should change here. Isaac Mock will hang on to 19th spot. A really good day for him, as we mentioned. But it's all Lawson Peel way out front. Man, the dejection. I can't wait to talk to Mario Miranda, but it's definitely not going to be in the same light as we had hoped for Car 99. But hey, this does give us another race winner on the season. That is always good. Parity has been a big thing with NASCAR in this Gen 7 car. And we're seeing that this season already. We're seeing several drivers able to contend for race wins, not just in the NASCAR Cup Series, but also here in the MPI Cup Series. So I think the MPI Cup Series is one of the best places to go if you want to see realistic NASCAR racing, especially with this Gen 7 car. Clearly, the parity is there. We've only had one repeat winner. That was Austin Reedy, the first 2 wins of the season. And you can always argue all day long about Daytona and the crapshoot that it is. So that second win for him at Auto Club Speedway, certainly, I think that's Austin Reedy's statement, and now Lawson Peel comes out here and says, yeah, I want to go win some road races, and wins the first one of the season at COTA.
And I'm interested to see, Andrew, what he's going to have to say. Obviously, he's going to burn it down on the entry, but obviously, talking about the weight of the controversy, I really want to hear his point of view on the pace, because he just came alive on the second set. It was really good to see that gap coming down. So still plenty of talk. Looks like a bit of damage to the number 53. And I'm pretty sure at this point, he might just be allowed to burn it up, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's actually ready for us to talk to him already. I think we've definitely moved him in. So let's go ahead and drag in driver of car 53, Lawson Peel. And Lawson, it was definitely a really strong second stint. And I do not want to overshadow the second stage. Let's talk about it first. Really good lap times. You were kind of there, always in the shadows in stage 1. What changed in stage 2?
I don't know. I didn't make many mistakes except for the one I made with Mario. There, I got to apologize to him. Certainly didn't want to win one like that. Raced with Mario for a long time, and we've always raced super well together, and that's the first incident that I can recall. So I hate that happened. He braked earlier than I anticipated, and I had to take it. I had to take it alongside of him, and I wasn't planning on dive bombing him right there, but yeah, I felt like he braked a little early, so I took it, and I think I was just carrying a little too much speed, locked it up, and got into him. So I hate that there, but yeah, I seemed to be okay on the long runs, and I honestly thought Mario was just maintaining the gap on me there until about 10 to go, and slowly started catching him, and realized I might have a chance, but he's so good on road courses. I just didn't think it was even going to be a race. I thought we were going to be racing for second, so I'm super happy. I'm thrilled to win the race. I really needed it. I'm down in about 27th in points, so this is huge for me. And again, I hate to win one like that, but if they can move on, I'm glad he's got a win and he's locked in, so that doesn't affect him too bad. But it happens. I apologize, but yeah, just thrilled to bring it home today.
And you touched exactly on what I wanted to ask you about next, what this win means for you. Obviously, it won't be a very popular win. Everybody on the Miranda camp, they're not going to like it, but you get a race win. You get a race win that you need, and it's going to change your season. Obviously, it goes a long ways to get you into the playoffs. How does this change your approach to races like Richmond next week being a full-length race? And do you maybe watch over your shoulder a little bit just in case Car 99 is behind you later on?
I'll talk to Mario. I'll apologize to him, so I hope that won't be an issue. But I'll certainly understand if he doesn't let me go. He doesn't cut me any breaks. We've raced really well together for a long time. So I think hopefully the history that we've got that stands is worth something there. So I think I'm surely he feels like he knows I wouldn't do that on purpose to him. So. But yeah, this is huge. I managed to finish 5th at Daytona, but since then I've gotten wrecked every week, so it's been very frustrating. Was way down in the points, and honestly, I just wanted to have a good run here tonight, and I thought I could finish in the top 5. But again, I didn't think anybody was going to be catching Mario. I thought he was going to be just checked out on everybody the whole race. So to have an opportunity to win the race was a surprise to me, and to win was huge, and definitely. Relieves a lot of weight off my shoulders from being way down in the points, and I can focus on just trying to get another win or two before the playoffs get started, and not have to be under that stress going forward. So it's huge for me.
You talk about an extra win or two hopefully coming your way. Where do you see Car 53 contending for one next? I know Richmond next week, 400 laps. That's going to be interesting, and obviously Bristol Dirt after that, Talladega, so on and so forth. Where does Lawson Peel win next?
Probably not Richmond or Bristol Dirt. The short tracks are not my forte. I'll certainly try to survive and just muster a good finish. I may go to Talladega, so I don't know if I'll make the race that evening. Don't know yet, but I'm traditionally a fiend for the ovals. I really like long green flag runs on ovals. That's typically where I do well. Road courses have historically not been all that great for me. I've just been working on my road a lot lately, and for some reason, here at COTA this week with this package, this new car clicked pretty well for me, and I've certainly been more competitive than I used to be when it comes to road. In another league a year or two back, Mario just absolutely smoked the whole field at the Roval. I was a lap down to him, so. I've definitely it's satisfying to have improved that much and to have run him down there on that last run. Again, I hate to win one like that. I really wanted to race him clean and pass him clean for it, but just made a mistake there. So,
well, Lawson, enough about that. Let's hype it up. A big win for you. 29th in points. You go out there, win at COTA. This could be the beginning of new things for you. Big things this season, and that is something to hang your hat on. You were really fast the second run. Hey, don't let that stuff get to you. Big win today. Congratulations, and live this one up. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at Bristol Dirt.
Appreciate that, Andrew. And I would have done burnouts, but I was out of gas.
Oh, how about that? Kind of nice and close. So, hey, once again, congratulations, buddy. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate it.
Lawson Peel, a big race win this evening. JP, let's go ahead and check through our race results before we take a quick post-race break. A really big win for Lawson. Yes, there's going to be connotations around it, but certainly one to hang his hat on regardless. Lawson Peel takes first. Mario Miranda there second. Ross Harlow third. We'll talk to them here shortly. Joe Sanchez there in that fourth spot. Wyatt Brackett in fifth. Really solid top 5, and for Wyatt to sneak in there as well in a really close battle with Steven Stempien. Those two guys did really well in the back end of this race. Stempien, a really good run there. Alex Buscarella into that 7th spot. Brandon Banks 8th. I think that's kind of a comeback for him. Cool to see him work his way through the field, and Richard Swavely hangs on to a top 10. Austin Reedy just barely sneaks in as well.
11th place goes the way of Curtis Kelly, right ahead of Warren Kyle Keith. Austin Shoemaker is going to finish in 13th place, just ahead of Chris Shoemaker. So that bold strategy did end up working. Looks like Chris Poger is going to finish. In 15th place. Justin Erb in 16th after we saw that spin. So the second stage definitely did not go the way of the number 24. Daniel Michel is going to finish in 17th. Ryan Kendall in 18th. Isaac Mock, which we talked about, Andrew, was a really good comeback race for him as well. He's going to finish in 19th place ahead of Parker Blend.
Finishing 21st, you'll find car 27, Kip Easley. Justin Hendry finishes 22nd. Travis Stevens, 23rd. The rest of your top 30 there, Garrett Brown, Dylan Hastings, Joseph Mahar, Dakota Curtis there. These guys all one lap down, even James Kunkel. Bill Schoonover will finish 29th, 2 laps down, and Dustin Reeves there, 30th, 2 laps down.
31st will go the ways of Charles Feltz in the number 75. Sean Kalis is going to finish in 32nd. Ray Rogers in 33rd ahead of Daniel Holcroft. Brian Curry in 35th, Logan Sturgeon in 36th, Zach Wilson 37th, Justin Winters 38th, Brett Fulham 39th, and Shane Wynett in 40th place.
The 40 cars get things done this evening. A really, really stellar first show for the MPI Cup Series here on PitStop TV. We'll be right back after a quick post-race break. If you're interested in some more interviews, by all means, stick with us here at PitStop TV. We and the drivers will certainly appreciate it. We'll see you in just a few.
What I'm really proud is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip has a 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more. In the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
Fuller,
Yeah,
needed F-150 for Smith build.
got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
Welcome back to the virtual Circuit of the Americas. Thanks for hanging with us through a quick post-race break, and we appreciate those messages from MPI and Auto Tempest. Let's get right back to it, JP. A really good day of racing, and we want to wrap things up by talking to some of our best drivers of the race. Of course, Mario Miranda, big second place. We'll try and wait on him. But Ross Harlow taking third place. He's worth talking to, and he's up next.
So Ross, a good race for you. Some amazing battles we've seen. You ended up finishing third place. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was just keep the car clean and go out, turn good laps. Don't get overzealous. If somebody wants a spot and they're going to fight real hard for it, let them have it. Otherwise, keep it clean, be smart, be aggressive when you got to be, and be there at the end.
We saw throughout the race you were having a really good battle, essentially holding that position for essentially the whole race over Sanchez right behind you. How difficult was it to soak in all the pressure and avoid pretty much any mistake?
It's a lot easier with someone like Joe. Been racing with him for probably 3 years now. So knowing him and knowing how he races, knowing that he knows how I race, there's a respect there that we can kind of shimmy shake with each other and make sure nobody's gonna, everybody's gonna come out the other side. I knew he was gonna be, aggressive. I knew when, he was gonna be making the big dives. It was just more just managing the gap, manage the pace, manage the gap, make sure you don't cook the tires, kind of try to maintain maintain that 5 or 6 tenths of a second.
And talking about tires, we kind of speculated they were going to be a much bigger factor. Some drivers told us it was only the first 5 laps, and then they kind of stabilized. What was your point of view on them?
I mean, they really weren't too bad. The wear wasn't anywhere near what I was expecting it to be. It was all just temps. If you slid these things at all, you were going to have the next 3 laps to try to cool them down. Otherwise, it was going to be, you weren't going to have a race car under you at that point. So that was the big thing, was just managing the temperature of the tires. It wasn't so much wear. They were definitely fast, real fast the first 2 or 3 laps. It was really easy if you push those first 2 or 3 laps to kind of wind up in trouble later on in the race. So it was a balancing act for sure.
And looking towards next week, should we expect something special from the number 5?
Richmond's one of my favorite tracks. Usually have pretty good luck there. Usually have a really good pace there. So hopefully another top 3. This is my first top 15 or something for this season. So it's been a rough season. So hopefully we can keep this ball rolling at this point. But definitely going to be fighting real hard for the win next week.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can talk to you plenty more throughout the season. But well done in your 3rd place.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Andrew, that was Ross Harlow. I mean, he was in a long race-long battle, kept his cool, kept soaking in all the pressure, and then ended up finishing 3rd place. A great result from him.
Really big day there for Ross Harlow. A lot of points certainly come in the way of car number 5. Now we do have a chance to speak with the guy that I think we all want to hear from, Mario Miranda, in all of that drama there in the last 5 laps. Mario, what happened?
I don't know. I don't want to say too much or I get in trouble, but just kind of sucks it goes that way, I know what I've done in the past, and I guess karma came up to me, but it just still sucks.
39 laps led, and unfortunately it all comes down to a bit of contact there with the left rear. How do you try and bounce back from that? Obviously you still get 2nd place, you still got 10 points from the stage, but this has got to be a pretty big shot to the ego a little bit.
Yeah, best way to bounce back is just do as best as I can until season's over. I know I have the pace, I know I have the strengths, and I have the history to prove it. So I can probably do it again, and we have 5 more road courses to go to, and 20 more tracks to go to, and just looking at the future.
Well, your existing win this season didn't even come on a road course. How do you try and back that up? Obviously, winning at Phoenix, pretty big deal. Going to help you out a lot this season. Do you look at another track maybe that's a little similar to Phoenix that you can try and get another one at? Where do we see the 99 car in victory lane next up?
Hopefully Richmond. I had a decent showing last season at Richmond, led a bunch of laps, and here, just the last 50 laps was kind of fell apart on me, but I don't know. I find the next race is coming up. I find myself pretty quick, so looking forward to it, and hopefully be in victory lane again soon.
And of course, we're new to all of you guys here with the MPI Cup Series. What's the biggest thing that we need to know about Mario Miranda going forward as we get used to you guys the rest of the season?
Double-digit wins.
You have it. I like that. I really like that confidence out of Mario Miranda here. Buddy, congratulations on, I think, a race really well done. Looked like it was at least going to be a really good battle for the race win. 39 laps led, 2nd place, still nothing to scoff at. A whole lot to hang your hat on. Congratulations on a good day at the very least, and we'll see you next time out.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week.
Mario Miranda, a really good showing here at COTA. And again, I think a lot to be happy with, a lot to hang his hat on, even though there is the overshadowing issue there with Lawson Peel that he and Lawson can work with or work out privately. But there is another driver that we want to talk to, and somebody that I think turned a lot of heads today, just moving his way through this field, Isaac Mock, with a really big day of gains here. Isaac, you started 37th, and at one point you were 13th. That, I think, is certainly a showing of attrition. What was the game plan today? What happened out there?
Oh, man. First of all, thank y'all for a great show. Game plan was to keep that beautiful Mohawk Foundation car as clean as possible and just pick off as many as we can and not burn the tires up too early in a run. That way we had something toward the end of a run.
It was clearly a tough day on tire temps. How did you manage that as best as you did, and how did you keep that car alive?
Just really watching our braking into the hard lifts. That's the biggest and the most dangerous parts of this track. So as long as we got through there clean every lap, then it was a win. And so we just kept moving along and clicking them away, and in the long run, it just made them feel a lot better.
Richmond next up. We will next see you guys here at PitStop TV at Bristol Dirt in a few weeks' time. How do you try and attack these next couple of short tracks, and how do you try and get through this stint on the schedule where you have short tracks and a plate track at Dega?
Send it as hard as we can, man. I played around with the Richmond set earlier. I'm not very good at dirt, so we're going to try to get all we can at Richmond and Talladega. We had a really good run at Daytona earlier this season, so maximizing points and finishes is all we can do.
And hey, you entered today 13th in the point standings. A bit of a slide from Atlanta, and maybe a little more of a slide today, but you're still high up where you need to be. How do you like your chances for the playoffs?
Really good compared to where we were at last season. We left Daytona with the points lead. We slipped a little bit, but I'm really hoping to heat up during the summer when we get to some of my tracks in my wheelhouse. So just keep battling every week and then see where we end up at, and hopefully we can slide our way on in there. Hopefully get a win before we have to point our way in.
There you go, Isaac Mock, a big storyline of the day. A lot of positions gained, JB, and I think it's going to be a big day for Isaac to look back on for this season. A lot of points gained. Isaac, thanks for your time. Congratulations on, again, a lot of spots, and we'll see you next time out.
Thank you guys so much.
A big day there for Cars 7. I know it's not a race win, it's not even a top 10, and hardly even a top 20 at the end of the day, but when you go from one end of the field nearly up to the other and you stay in that top half, that's really something that you want to look back on as a big season-building day. And a big shout-out to Emerson for even pointing us onto this storyline of Isaac Mock. This is a good one.
It was excellent. I mean, you mentioned, he doesn't need to finish in the top 10. He barely finished in the top 20, but he still had a great race. You can see his car injury was, well, it looks perfect, doesn't it? Oh, I was just gonna mention that the back end looks a little bit dented, but other than that, he kept his race clean. He ran his own race, avoided most of the trouble, and well, came out with a lot of positions, almost 20 positions gained. So a really good race from him.
Really big day there for car number 7. Let's look at a few more things. Of course, we went through the results, but let's go ahead and look at that race info that we talked about earlier on in the day. That one caution for 4 laps, but hey, we added a few lead changes there, JP. Not quite up to the previous numbers from previous seasons, but still got up to 4 lead changes by the end of the day. So hey, we got things mixed around. We certainly had a good day of racing. And hey, we've got a lot more great days of racing coming up here at PitStop TV, especially with this MPI Cup Series. Let's talk about, first off, the schedule here for these guys. Podium Esports has coverage from Richmond next week. It's a full-length 400-lap race. Then we pick things back up at Bristol Dirt, and we get them all the way through Sonoma. So we get a long stint coming up with this MPI Cup Series. Bristol Dirt, Talladega, Dover, Darlington, Kansas, the All-Star Race at Texas, Charlotte, Gateway, and Sonoma. Really, really big set of races coming up. A lot of cool races in that list as well. I'm excited.
Oh, you're not the only one, Andrew. Me too. I'm not much of an oval guy, but looking at these races and looking at how the new the Gen 7 Cup cars are running and how these guys are running, I'm very excited to watch a lot of these races, if not all of them, if time allows me. But boy, oh boy, this is going to be a fantastic season. It already is, but it's about to get even better.
And again, the yellow numbered races, those are the races that we have here on PitStop TV. The gray ones left in this season, those are all on Podium Esports, and they're going to have a big chunk of races as well in those playoffs. And you know what? After covering so many of these races, I'm certainly going to have to tune into Podium Esports when we get down to race 25 and beyond and see how this thing wraps up. There's so much to watch for in each of those rounds of the championship, and all the way down to Phoenix, of course. And they even threw in Rockingham in there at race number 34. That's going to be really cool to see these next-gen cars, these Gen 7 brand new cars, 18-inch rims and everything else, rear diffusers and everything at Rockingham of all places. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting combo when we get down to it. But hey, we've got a lot more broadcasts coming up on PitStop TV. Let's take a look through them. And JP, this still lists Sunday, this evening with the MPI Cup Series, but you can see what's coming up afterwards, and it's a big Tuesday coming up this week. Donington Park in the afternoon, and that'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern, actually. That'll be 8 p.m. UK. UK time actually switches this weekend, or I guess already has. Then Tuesday evening, we have Charlotte Motor Speedway with the North American Racing League Porsche Cup cars on the Roval. That's going to be really exciting, a whole lot of fun. And Wednesday, we've got the Outlaw Sim Series, bringing you more Gen 7 action from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before we continue on through the week. We've got BSRTC on Thursday afternoon from Donington Park, and we've got, of course, North American Racing League GT3 action later this week from Long Beach. So a lot of great races coming up on PitStop TV, and JP, a lot of places to keep up with them.
Obviously, as usual, we mentioned Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, each and every single one of them with their characteristics for news, updates, photos, post-race coverage, all that sort of stuff. You can find us on Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Twitter.com/PitStopTV_, Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV, and YouTube.com/PitStopTV1.
A solid day of racing here at Circuit of the Americas. Again, we will next see you in mid-April at Bristol for what's going to be a fun day of racing in the dirt. But until then, thanks so much for tuning in and checking us out here at PitStop TV. A big shout out to all of our guys here at the channel. Of course, JP Costa and Emerson Arden joining me on coverage today. And of course, everybody else that checks in with us from time to time and helps us out. I think of guys like Ed Schurer, Devin Zimmerman, Caleb Gladney, Eric Brennan, the list goes on and on. So many great people make so many great things happen here at PitStop TV, and it would not be possible without the rest of them. For all of us, though, thank you so much again for watching, and thanks, well, hey, if this is your first introduction to PitStop TV, thanks for checking in with us, hopefully following us on our social media platforms, subscribing to us on YouTube, the whole lot of them, and we will see you next time. Again, it's Bristol Dirt next up for the MPI Cup Series, at least that we have coverage of them with them, but you can also see Richmond this upcoming week on Podium Esports, and you do not want to miss that. Until then, though, have a great night. We will see you next time at PitStop TV.